1.48000. I still have the picture on my phone. I'm like, you made almost $1.5 million. And I'm not a dancer, but I did a little dance and I was like, $1.5 million. And all of your people are eating crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, next year, this is it, man. I'm going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was over for me. It was a drug.
Yeah. Addicting. Yeah.
3 million, 3.6 million. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Most importantly, unlike some of my peers, I pay people. So I was not a greedy person, never have been. So if you know, at JE, you were allowed to set up your own pay structure.
Yeah.
And when I became national, I set up the pay structures for all the offices. So what happened? All the leaders and all the regionals were making a lot more money.
Yeah.
And of course, that was big hush hush. Don't let them get in contact with other leaders. Well,
yeah,
people talk. And when my regionals were out in Hawaii getting 2 drop tops and doing this, and people were coming up to me, how are they affording all this? And my guys were like, well, we get this amount in overrides. They're like, what? Yeah, that's what he pays us. My loyalty at that point was at an all-time high, because you set up a structure for someone to advance. And when they say all of a sudden, this guy's 21 years old, he became a millionaire.
Yeah.
They're like, he's been in this business 3 years, he's a millionaire. That's what Dennis does. One of your mentors, and literally my best friend, passed away this year.
Yeah.
And he was getting severely underpaid.
Yeah.
And when I came across the information, and I'm not going to tell you how I did that, but I came across the information, I shared it with him.
Yeah.
And I shared it with him because I thought it was tragic that he was putting up 1,000+ deals a week, and the guy above him was making more money than he was making on his own deals.
Yeah.
And I said, at that point, we formed a relationship where he would call me and he said, why are you helping me?
Yeah.
I said, look, if you can beat me with my own tools, that means you're better than me.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that. That's just going to make me work harder. And it is what it is.
We are live, y'all. We are live. What's up, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the Kava podcast. My name is Will. I'm host of this show. If you guys are tuning for the very first time, in live, thank you so much for tuning in. Please show some love. Please like and subscribe to my channel. If you've been watching, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for the love and support. I do want to do a quick shameless plug real quick for everybody that's been watching. Give a shout out to my friend Queena. She gave me some of her merch. Definitely check her out. It's called Pacifica CEO. She helps a lot of entrepreneurs start their own businesses, become financially independent. And she has a lot of seminars. I'll definitely have information below. So thank you so much. Go definitely check her out. And thank you for her shirt that she provides and the merch she gives me, the support she gives me. So I just want to give a quick shout out to her. But nevertheless, let's get back to it. We have a very special guest today. A lot of you guys that watch my podcast, watch my channel, you guys already know I do share a lot of my story. And I have mentioned before that before I got into podcasting, I was in door-to-door sales, and I've mentioned a part of my story. I was in sales. That's where for me I got a lot of my knowledge, and the biggest growth period of my time was going through sales. So today we have a special guest today, one of the killers in the sales industry when I was during that time. He's having the opportunity to be on my show today. I just want to say thank you so much to him directly. Thank you so much. But he's all the way from I forgot what state again? What state again are you from?
We are in Ohio.
Ohio.
We are live in Ohio.
Live in Ohio.
There you go.
All right. But like I said, he was one when I was there in JE, he was one of the best, probably like the best guy in the industry. So he was the fastest person in the history of JE to get $1 million ring. the fastest person to get the 3 million black diamond cufflinks, the fastest person to get the 5 million Breitling watch, the record 3,600 sales in a week. At one point in time, he had 66.7% total output of residential sales in the company. Has the record for the most amount of sales reps in one office, 137 sales reps in one office, and has created, I know he's one of his proudest moments is he has created over 14 million millionaires in the company that came out of his distributorship. So I'm excited to say that the one and only Dennis Piazza, but I'll allow him to introduce himself personally. Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, thanks, Will. It's funny. You can talk about door to door, but everybody's got their trials and tribulations through life, right? And mine started no different than everybody else. They have the things. I didn't get into door to door sales, which is maybe a unknown fact, until I was 39 years old.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So most people started when they were 20, 18, 19, 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And they work it for a little while and they never made anything of it, but they made a lot of money and they were happy, but that's what they did. I started when I was 39 years old, not because I wanted to, because I had to. And once I got into it and realized the amount of money you could make, it kind of blew my mind. As you know, because you've done it and I've seen some of your checks, it was... you almost ran to the bank to make sure it cashed, and you were like, "Oh my God, it's in my account." So very. I think the things that I've learned in this business, no different than what you said before you went into podcasting. It teaches you a lot about life in general, the interaction between people. I guess rejection, right? Good and bad. Obviously, we all had some very good experiences as well. And let's face it, if you were somebody that actually went to work in this business, you made a lot of money as well. So very fruitful and great experience. Love it.
All right, no problem, man.
Today.
Still killing it.
Still doing it.
Still killing it. Yeah, thank you so much, Dennis. I'm excited to have you on this podcast. And everybody that's watching, let's get ready because we're gonna go deep today. We're gonna go
real deep,
unfiltered, bro, and deep. And get ready for you guys. And we're gonna share a lot of stories today about his life. But like I said, before we go into door to door, before we go into your success and all these things, let's take it way back, Dennis. Let's take it way back. Way back. How did this all start? So can you start it off, and talk about more of your background and how did you grow up from the very beginning?
I grew up, I told you this before we started. I'm second generation Italian. And, whether people like this or not, my grandparents came over on the boat. So I'm second generation. My dad and mom met. My dad was in the Navy. And ended up, he lived in Cleveland for a while. Where my grandparents lived, and got married, had me, and my dad didn't want us to be in Cleveland because he didn't like the environment that it was. So he moved us out to the country. But we were immigrants in literally to this day, the population is 1,097. Small town. And we were looked at a little bit differently because I don't know if you can tell by my skin color, I'm not exactly the farmer. So we went through a lot of things, and those were all experiences as young kids. But my parents were always very positive. We were not rich at all, but my parents always made sure there was food on the table. We always had clothes. Taught us the right things. To this day, I always tell my mom I am a math wizard, and it's all because my mom spent so much time with me as a young kid going over math. So numbers in my head go like this, right? But I grew up in that town, finished second in my class. I was a two-time state wrestling champion, and I can remember graduating and thinking to myself, in a town of 1,097, I looked around and I said, is this what I want to do the rest of my life? And that takes nothing away from the town that I was in, but I felt that I wanted more, except that I ended up getting a scholarship to Villanova. And I went there for wrestling. But you know what happens when you drop a small town kid into Philadelphia?
What happens?
You make a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
And that's why I said you need to have me on your dating show, because I made a lot of bad decisions at 19 years old. And my grade point average initially started at 3.6. And 2 years later, they called me in and my coach said, look, if your grades don't come up, we got to cut your scholarship.
Yeah.
Villanova is a very nice school and very expensive. My parents were not paying for school. I was paying for it myself.
Yeah.
So I could not afford to go there if I lost my scholarship. Realized, and word of advice for anybody, you are your circle. And I was in a circle of a bunch of wrestlers that loved to party. Went to wrestling practice. It was a full-time job. And I had never, coming from a small town, have never seen women like that in my life. And I'm just being honest, right? So it totally sidetracked me. And I realized that my grade point average was so low that I had zero chance. So I put my tail between my legs and transferred to Akron University and went back home. My aunt and uncle, and finished up at Akron University, not wrestling because I didn't have a wrestling program back then. But I worked 3 jobs and paid my way through school. Did not have any school loans. Okay. You can't do that nowadays. But back then you could. And that worked out very well because here's the thing. I had a degree. And guess what I thought? I should go out and get my new house. Get a nice car. I should start buying shit because I'm about to get this great job because I got a degree. Guess what? Didn't work that way. Because guess what I didn't have? Experience. And people said, well, we're going to give you $18,000 a year. Now that was way back then. I was like, $18,000, man, I can get an hourly job and make that amount of money. But you don't have any experience. I couldn't afford to take that job because I had to live. So I took a job in a warehouse, worked my way up, became site manager there eventually with my degree. And eventually became the second most important person in that company outside. And you know, when you say in your mind as a young person, I made it. I thought I made it. Well, I really thought I made it.
That's crazy compared to where you are now.
But I really thought I made it.
Yeah.
And I was making $100,000 a year in 1997. Put that in perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know what that translates to nowadays, but it was a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money back then. Yeah.
Ended up making some bad decisions. Ended up meeting a woman who had 2 kids.
Single moms.
I love dearly.
Yeah.
1 and 2. We got married. Had 2 more kids. Bought a house. Man, Will, I had the American dream, right?
Yeah, you had the dream.
I mean, I had the house, 2 brand new vehicles, 11 acres, over $100,000 a year. I didn't have a white picket fence.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you have the white picket fence? Yeah.
No. Besides that, I was like, man, you made it. Until 9/11 happened. And when 9/11 happened, obviously everybody knows the economy just
crashed.
And I went from a group of 158 people to 6 months later, 47. And if now you're too young, but the economy back then literally it was over.
Yeah.
Nobody was hiring. Everything was bad. And my company was offering buyout packages. And buyout packages were you could take it and they would give you a year's worth of salary. But you had to sign a piece of paper that said you voluntarily quit. No unemployment, no nothing, no benefits, but you got a year's worth of salary. But I seen them getting rid of, which I was part of, unfortunately, some of senior management. And I'm thinking they're paying me all this money. The writing is on the wall. So I went to the owner and said, look, I would like to volunteer for the buyout package. Because at that time, the woman I used to live with was in her last 6 months of school to be a surgical tech in a heart wing. And I figured she'll be done with school. She'll get a job. And here's me thinking, I'll get a job when I'm ready. I'll hang out with kids over the summer. Everything will be good. I used to work 12 hours a day. The only problem with that is when you took all that money and I quit and I was at home, I started to find out some things that I didn't know because I was working so much. And what that was I was driving up the driveway coming home from the grocery store with my second youngest son. And he said, Dad, Mike likes the Steelers? Excuse my language. I don't want to swear, but I'm like, who the F is Mike?
That was Mike.
She says, that's Mom's friend. I'm like, Mom's friend? She goes, yeah, he comes over when you're not here. He's 4. And well, right then and there, it's all back, right? So again, being ignorant, and ignorant is something that you say to people think that's a bad thing. It just means you don't know. I was ignorant because I filed for divorce. And I filed for divorce thinking I was going to get my kids, was going to get my house, was going to get my retirement package and everything else. And she was doing something that I was not doing. I should be all right. Word to the younger generation. It's not the way it works.
Oh, no.
So I lost my house. I lost, I say this humbly. They obviously, at that point, I was unemployed. They repossessed both vehicles. I lost all 4 of my children. And the biggest problem I had at that point, I was unemployed. It was 9/11. I had a degree. I had a lot of experience, but no one was hiring. And who was going to hire somebody at that time that was making that kind of money? Nope.
And how old were you during this time when this happened?
Well, 38.
So 38 and all this just happened. 38, damn.
But let me tell you, in defense of women, it didn't happen because it was 100% her fault. And when I say that, even though we don't speak to this day, but I worked 5 days a week, 12 hours a day, and 6 hours on Saturday. Now, mind you, she had everything and the kids had everything they needed. And we made a lot of money, but we didn't spend time together.
Gotcha.
Part of that is my fault. And maybe it wasn't communication, not all of it, don't get me wrong. But, at the same token, your life crumbles. And, I don't think it hit me right away until I realized I had no place to live. And I had some money in my bank account, but not a lot. And I got a efficiency apartment and I figured, everything's going to be all right. And I started applying. Guess what happened? Nope. That's how door-to-door came up, because I seen an ad. I don't know if you applied to one of these in the paper, $20 an hour. I was like, oh shit. Okay. Maybe I'll just get this to get me by.
The J.E. Alley ads.
Yeah, you remember?
The infamous Alley ads.
Right.
That's how they get you.
And he brought me in, and this is the funniest story. It was over September, Labor Day, and I said, look, can I schedule my interview?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yep, when do you want? And I was like, well, I'd like to work on Friday, or I'd like to come in on Friday before Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And they're like, fine. And I don't even remember. I think I had a car issue. And I called in that morning. I said, man, can I reschedule? They're like, yeah, sure. Tuesday. And all of a sudden in my mind, I'm thinking like, that was like way too easy. I mean, like they didn't even care. And they're like, yeah, you're on Tuesday. Yeah. I go in for the interview and a guy sitting behind the desk says, man, I think you might be our guy. I lied about my resume. I say it openly now. Yeah. I dumped it down. I didn't even put college on my resume. High school diploma. I worked at a warehouse. I packed boxes, and I lost my job. Yeah. I'm thinking I can get this job. Yeah. They gave me the job. You know what I thought I was doing? Answering phones behind the desk.
I was just about to ask you, like, what was the job description?
Customer service. And I even called back in because my brother said, this sounds like a scam. I called back in. He wants me to get a job. And I said, man, look, the lady said, no, it's customer service. I said, well, it looks like a scam. She goes, oh, no, it's totally legit. I'm like, okay, that's enough for me. Because you know what? I had literally 30 days worth of money in my bank account. That's scary. So I go in. They run me through this class that took like an hour. Mm-hmm. And back then, remember, it was contracts, right? Yeah, so they're telling me how to fill out a contract. We had no script to how you approach a customer, but I thought it'd still sit me on the desk. I had nice shoes on. I had khakis on. I had a polo on. And they loaded me into a van.
You're giving me flashbacks people right now. You give me flashbacks to my own orientation.
Wait a minute, it gets better. It gets way better. Guess what happened? We drive in a Chevy Venture that was shaking at 55 miles an hour. Oh. And once he got it past 65, the vibration stopped. He was doing 80 on a highway. All of a sudden, this is my first day. Lights come on. Police pull up behind us. And the guy sitting up front looks in the back and he says, none of you guys got any weed, do you? And I'm like, oh, no. The cop comes up and get this. Nobody in the van had a driver's license. Oh, nobody. And he looked at me. This is my first day. And he goes, you got a driver's license? And I looked at him like dumb, stupid, like, yeah? He's like, perfect. On my first day, I'm driving a van. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. To this day, we go out and he takes me out and he says, all right, this is what you do. I watched this guy write 10 sales in a matter of like 2.5 hours. Yeah. And I'm like, he's 18 years old. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, I make a couple $1,000s a week. And I'm thinking he's trying to juice me. And I'm watching this dude and I'm like, wow. So he says, all right, let's go back to the van. We go back to the van. He said, you smoke? I said, yeah, I grab a cigarette. And he goes, no, do you smoke? Yes. I'm like, no, bro, I'm going through divorce right now. No, I don't smoke nothing. He goes, well, go out there and try it by the rest of your day by yourself. He picked me up at 9 o'clock. I worked the rest of the day by myself. And I'm going to tell you, best way to learn things is a school of hard knocks. Yeah. I went out there and said, hello, my name's Dennis. I'm from Just Energy. I'm looking down and I look up, the door shut. I'm like, oh my goodness. I signed 3 sales that day. 3.
No script.
And I kid you not, I hit 250 doors. I had a blister on my big toe because I wore the wrong shoes. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to work. I'm hanging around a bunch of kids that have no inspiration in life. Yeah. And I'm trying to make money for my family. Yeah. And I need to get my kids back. And I said, and this guy's juicing me to get back. He goes, man, you did really good. 3 on your first day.
Yeah.
Man, I'm 39 years old. I ain't
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
all that. And I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah.
yeah. He goes, we'll see you tomorrow morning, right? On the way home, I'm thinking to myself, look, now I'm almost at 3 weeks before I'm out of money. I'm going to give this one more day. If I don't write more deals than I did the other day, I'm done. I wrote 7 the next day. The following day, I wrote 12. The day after that, I wrote 15.
Yeah.
And then the guy that ran the office, I'm not going to mention his name, pulled in one of the managers, says, I want you to shadow him because he's writing way too many deals. He's probably doing fraudulent stuff.
Yeah, the fraudulent, yeah.
So he sat with me. I didn't understand why, but he's walking with me. And he called the dude after about an hour and he says, look, I'm going to tell you right now, this dude walks really fucking fast. Excuse my language. That's the problem. I said, so the difference between me and you is I'm trying to get my kids back. I owe $186,256 in debt.
Yeah.
They took my vehicles. They foreclosed on my home. That woman I used to live with has my retirement. I'm broke.
And you got one week left before your
the day I was getting paid, I only had 1 week left after that.
Yeah.
And I got my first check. And I'm going to tell you the funny thing. It was exactly $2,000. Tell me that didn't look weird, right?
Yeah.
So, I took that thing to the bank. And I don't know if you all remember, but back in the day, you could call the bank and it would say your balance at 12:01. I was calling that thing at 12:01, 12:02. And when that thing actually deposited and the money was in there, I was like, oh, legit. Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Oh, man.
Funny story, but man, I'm telling you, to make $2,000 in a week, but the thing was, I didn't even know what I was doing yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's where my mindset went was, I don't even know what I'm doing yet, and I made $2,000. What if I do know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And that's what changed me and JE, is I realized at that point.
Yeah.
So you've been in the business, you already know that you can make a lot of money. And for those people that actually go to work and take it as a job and do well for yourself, you'll make a lot of money. For people that use it just to make some money, you're never going to go anywhere with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we go into the transition when you went from sales rep to, and when you decided to go into leadership, it's funny when you talked about your orientation and how you got hired. It's if you're in door-to-door sales, you're from JE, but if you watch it, you know exactly why we're laughing.
Right.
Because I was the same way. I was hired through an ad. It was an office job. Went in there, went to orientation.
Well, they didn't say office job. See, that's where they were smart.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you read that thing, your mind was like, "Oh, I'm going to be sitting in an office."
Yeah. I don't know the exact wording, but the way they portrayed it.
Whoever wrote that ad did a good job.
Yeah,
because I believe it.
Yeah, but the way they portrayed it was like I was working indoors. I don't know the verbiage, but I remember. I want to work indoors. I went in with my best shirt and tie that I had, my best khakis I had, my best shoes I had. Went to orientation. It was like an hour just like you. And then the next day I showed up, and then we got into a van.
Right.
And I was like, well, where are we going? I thought we were going for lunch. We're probably going for lunch. Because I came the next day with the same dress, the shirt and tie with and my khaki. I came in the same uniform I had before orientation, and we went. And this was in August. It was in Cali, San Jose. It was probably like 95 degrees outside.
Yep.
And it's funny. It's like in our mind, like, I'm still wondering, okay, what's going on? What I'm still wondering in my mind, what is going on? And then I went in the shadow of my crew coordinator at that time, and I remember he wrote 8 sales that day. And I remember walking around in 95-degree heat in my shirt and tie, the khakis and dress shoes. in San Jose, California. And I'm in my mind, I was like, what the hell is going on right now? But look, but the only reason why I say like you, that is like at that time I just came out of college, I was dead broke, I had no offers. I applied for all these jobs. Literally, this was like my only option. Because I asked that question to this day. I was always ask myself, how did I even stay? How did I even stay?
You know what's so funny? Well, and I look at this and say it truly, and maybe somebody can take this for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I think the people that do well in life, and I'm not just talking about door to door, but we can relate to door to door because we're both there.
Yeah.
You have to be in a position of need.
Yeah.
And I mean, need, not want. Like there are, and I say this respectfully, there are grown man problems.
Yeah.
I had grown man problems, not problems like I need a new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
My phone might go off. And, I mean, literally, I'm telling you, Will, I owed $186,256 after they took the vehicles, after they took the house, the past due, and like all that stuff was in my name, not hers. I owed that money. And I had a flip phone because I couldn't even afford a regular phone, and it was a prepaid one.
I had a flip phone too.
Yeah, and you know what's really bad? How do bill collectors get that number? They're calling me for money I don't have, and they're wasting my minutes. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man? It was bad, but you know what? It taught me something, because you got to go to work, and I don't care what you do in life. You can do podcasting. You can work at a bank. You can work at a warehouse. What you do, what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
And in life in general. So you can half step all you want. And, I know a lot of people that got like 7 different side hustles.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're putting a little bit into this side hustle.
Yeah.
A little bit into this. That's counterproductive.
Yeah.
You have to be good at something before you can expand.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire because I need 7 streams of income. Okay, well, I get that, bro, but you got to be good at something first to build off of that.
Yeah.
Because if you're making $100 off of 7 things, that's $700. You can work one thing and make $1,500.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Shoot or dribble? That's it. But you saw it. Same thing, need, right? I mean, you just came out of college. You're like, man, I'm broke. I need to do something.
I'm broke. I had no job. I applied for all these jobs. Yeah, I love what you said, because sometimes I'll think about it back just in retrospect, like how did even though all the signs, there were so many red flags. There were red flags, but I just learned something. When you look at successful people, I think one of the things that we all do is there's a term called burn your boats. Like we just burn our boats. Like there's no other option but to succeed. And then that's why why you are where you're at right now. You had a great career in JE, and then I believe that's one of the reasons why I did well.
But don't you think you just said burn your boats?
Yeah,
and that's a very I might steal that from you, okay?
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, but,
go ahead.
But burn your boats is one thing, but it's because of the experiences that you've been through life, how you were raised, and what you're up against. Not everybody is willing to burn their boats. I mean, it's literally to the point where, people are like, well, I'm cool. I'll just collect unemployment. Well, I'm cool. I'll just do this.
Yeah.
You're a different person.
Yeah.
And not everybody is cut from that thread. But unless I don't know how you grew up personally, or I don't know what model your parents or grandparents, whatever, put in front of you. But, I had the dream when I grew up. What it was told to me is what you do is go get a job.
Yeah.
You work for 40 years.
Yeah.
Get by, pay your bills, hopefully have enough in retirement so you can retire and get by.
Yeah.
That was and throw the white picket fence in there.
Yeah, the white picket fence.
That was the American dream.
Yeah.
And, after going through this, I'm like, F the American dream. That's crazy. I'm not going to get caught in, if you're one of those people, the more I do, the more I should make.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get in a situation where, nor should you. If Will works harder than me than he does the same job, why shouldn't Will make more money?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I seen the harder I worked, the more money I could make, it was a drug. And I don't do drugs, but it was, that's my analogy. It was like, wow, oh my God. All I could think about is, I got 7 days to do this. Right? I mean, you got caught in the same mode. I mean, I see your numbers. I'm like, who is this Will dude? I mean, this dude's writing all these deals in a single market, but you're like, man, I got 7 days. No one can tell me I can't have overtime. No one can tell me I have to quit.
Yeah.
God, man, that's
can
take care of a lot of things.
No, it's no, I'm thinking back. I'm trying to think back right now, but I was like you. I was, I wasn't born in the U.S. Well, you were born in the U.S., but your parents were, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I grew up I was born overseas and I came over here. But I had the American dream because I used to watch Hollywood videos back in the islands. So the American dream, coming to America, the land of opportunity, get your white picket fence, the trophy wife, and everything. So that was my mindset coming over here. And then of course I didn't come from I didn't come from a rich family. We barely we weren't poor, but we survived. But one thing I did realize was when I saw my parents and how my dad taught me was just if you work for something, you're gonna get something out of it.
Yep.
So, and then for the like you said, when I worked at JE for the first time, and I realized, like you said, like the more I worked the more effort I put into something, and I saw that reflection of my paycheck, that blew my mind. That was got me. I'm burning my boats. I'm going all into this door-to-door job.
You running your own office, right? I mean, you this, and you're like, oh my God, I can make all this money.
Yeah.
It's addicting. It really is.
I know. So when you finally made some good money, you're killing it right now with your being a sales rep. When did you start thinking about leadership and growth?
It was by accident. It was by accident. And when I say by accident, because the only thing that was on my mind was getting my kids back.
Yeah.
And the reason I didn't have my kids is because I was unemployed. She took everything, sold it, moved to Florida, had a job at Lee County Memorial Hospital as a surgical tech in the heart wing.
Mm-hmm.
She was already making $70,000 a year, and the judge looked at me as a man and said, "You ain't making any money.
Yeah,
you're going to get visitation."
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking before this thing about humbling things.
Yeah.
And when I walked out of that courtroom, I felt like the lowest piece of crap that I possibly could.
Yeah.
And, I had that first check of $2,000, which sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I got $86,253. And I had to pay my lawyer.
Oh, man.
Where do you think that $2,000 went?
Yeah.
It was gone when it hit my account.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is a humbling story, and I'm being very honest. December 24th, Christmas Eve, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my son calling me and saying that Mom said, "You'll never make anything of your life, and you'll never be able to have us anyways." I had no money to send Christmas gifts or anything. Couldn't see my children for the first time. And I got off the phone because I was on a minute phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, I don't drink liquor. I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
I like to have some beers. And I literally had enough money for a 6-pack every 2 to 3 days. And I had 2 beers in that refrigerator that I had in that efficiency apartment. And I contemplated suicide.
Oh.
And it was, if I probably could have had enough for a 12-pack,
mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't be here right now. And I woke up on Christmas Day. And of course, my parents wanted me to come over and this
mm-hmm.
and that. I was too ashamed.
Yeah.
And I told him I was working.
Yeah.
I worked, if you remember back then, we could work every day at JE.
Every day.
Right?
Yeah, every day. Every day.
I literally went out on Christmas Day. I only wrote 2 sales, but I went out and worked. And I can remember coming home in the snow. It was snowing back then. It snows in Ohio. And I challenged myself and I said, you are going to get your children back. So I went on this spree because I understood operations, because that's what I was always been on. And you know how they bring in all the new people?
Yeah.
And all the managers would look and go, that person ain't good. I don't want them. I don't want them. I was taking everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm training everybody. If I can do this, this person can do it. This person can do it. And in a matter of 6 months, I went from me, because I had a driver's license, so now I became a leader, right? I mean, you know how that works. You're laughing because you know I'm right.
Yeah.
And I had insurance. Imagine that. But that was a bonus, right? But I went from 6 people to 18 people. And then I went from 18 people to 36 people. I had the biggest team. I was probably 3/4 of the office.
Yeah.
And the guy that originally hired me, him and I didn't see eye to eye too well.
Yeah.
Because everybody around there was very young. And I was all about my money. And all the people who worked with me were making all this money. They were like, I want to be on his team. These guys are all making money.
Yeah.
And finally I said to him, I said, look, man, this ain't gonna work for me. I need to be able to grow in this business. And if you're not going to give it to me and my group, we're leaving.
Yeah.
It was checkmate. Guess what? I miraculously got my own office. That's when it started.
Yeah.
So, but I understood it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're male, female, old, young. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter. Anybody can do sales, and sales is a learned skill.
Yeah.
It's something that somebody has to work with you.
Yeah.
It's rapport. It's learning the right things, the wrong things. And it's all determination and will. Yeah. And when you have older people, younger people, women, men, I mean, I could go through the whole variety, but I had them all. So then when I bring new people in, I was like, oh, this is an older lady. I'm going to put her with Joyce.
Yeah.
Joyce is an older lady, and they're going to work well together. So I developed, that's how I blew up everything, is I said, everybody looks at this, and I go back to Syracuse, the 28 white boys. We're all 24 years old. I want diversity. I want every race, nationality, male, female, age. I want it all. And I want to teach them all, because I'm going to have the best trainers in the world. That's how we got to 137.
Yeah, I do want to ask you, because everybody's watching this. One of the things I always admired about you, because one thing I do know is you can't scale a business, or you can't grow to 130 people without being a great leader. This doesn't happen by accident. That's what I just realized, that based on my observation experience, the people that always built the best teams, the most productive teams, when I observed those type of people, they're always people that I saw that had very great leadership. So I do want to ask you, what makes a great leader according to you? Because you see, if you do door to door, you've seen all types of leaders, all types of people. So go ahead.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Go ahead.
Guess who wrote 42 sales last week?
Who?
This guy. I went out with a team that is working currently to work with new people, to show them the right way. I worked that week and wrote 42 sales. You can't ask somebody to do something you can't do.
Yeah, I love that quote. Love that. Yep. You
really have to be, and I don't know if you remember this, but we had at one time at JE, we had a tournament for regionals. We had a tournament for nationals for a week to see who wrote the most business.
Yeah.
My tournament was over day one. When I wrote 15 my first day, all the nationals were like, oh, look, man, I'm not doing it. And you have to be someone that, you got to be relatable.
Yeah.
You have to understand. And what I did with my business the whole time, Will, was I always put myself where I was when I started this business.
Mm-hmm.
Going door to door, knocking business.
Mm-hmm.
What does that person want? They want a career. They
Mm-hmm.
have to see that they have something other than, oh, just go out here a couple hours, make yourself some bucks, go home. There's no sustainability in that. So you have to have
Mm-hmm.
structure.
Mm-hmm.
They have to understand what they need to do to advance.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, unlike some of my peers, I pay people. So I was not a greedy person, never have been.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know, at JE, you were allowed to set up your own pay structure.
Yeah.
And when I became national, I set up the pay structures for all the offices.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? All the leaders and all the regionals were making a lot more money.
Yeah.
And of course, that was big hush hush. Don't let them get in contact with other leaders. Well,
Yeah.
people talk. And when my regionals were out in Hawaii getting 2 drop tops and doing this, and people were coming up to me, how are they affording all this? And my guys were like, well, we get this amount in overrides. They're like, what? Yeah, that's what he pays us.
Mm-hmm.
My loyalty at that point was at an all-time high, because you set up a structure for someone to advance. And when they say all of a sudden, this guy's 21 years old, he became a millionaire.
Yeah.
We're like, he's been in this business 3 years, he's a millionaire. That's what Dennis does.
Yeah.
And then boom, and boom, and boom. So there's a lot of things that people will consider a good leader. People say you got to be well-spoken. I don't consider myself well-spoken. I consider myself, I can speak. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I relate to people very well. I think, and I listen to people. Listening is a lost skill.
Yeah.
You can learn more about a conversation just listening to
Listening. Yep.
than you can from anything else.
Yeah.
And if you listen to somebody, do you know how important that is for somebody? I mean, you might, but people don't. Some people have never had anyone listen to them.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you listen to them makes them feel good. But you know what? If you're really that kind of person that you say you are, you make follow-up phone calls to that people. I would call people at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Am I calling you too late? No, man, what's going on? They were all happy I was calling.
Yeah.
Well, you seem things were a little off today. I just wanted to make sure. No. I mean, you want to talk about, and when you do stuff like that, you build an organization that believes not only in the cause, but in you. And if they believe in you, you could tell people the sky is yellow. Dennis said the sky is yellow. And everything Dennis has told me and everything he said was going to happen has happened. The sky is yellow. And you know what? Yep, we're going to do 3,600 sales this week. This is how we're going to do it. And guess what? We did. So, man, I could go on and on about things. And you know what? Look, at the end of the day, I'm not good at everything. And I think that's what, and I told people this all along, I'm a logistics person. I'm an operations person. I'm not a juice person. You work with some of the best juice people in the business. Guys that literally, you would get done with a meeting and you would feel like you were going to run through a wall. Right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong or right?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I get in there and nobody would even let me do meetings. You know why? They'd be like, man, Dennis would be like, look, if you don't write, you're not going to get paid. And the guys are like, look, man, you're not motivating anybody like that. I'm just giving them the truth. So what did I do? I knew I wasn't good at that. Everybody I brought in that became leaders around me were juice people. You know why? That was my deficiency.
Yeah.
Man, finance, doing this, logistics, that was all me.
Yeah.
I let them expand what they were good at because I wasn't. And I wasn't even afraid to admit it because I had been humbled so bad from what I've been through. I need to find the right people. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I did, and it worked.
No, the one thing just listen to what you said and about paying people, listening to people, checking up on people. I believe it. I mean, for me, I think one of the most important things, because I've been both me and you, we've been sales reps before, and we've also been leaders, and you, of course, you've been regional, and then of course you are national. But then there's one element a lot of people, especially when it comes to door or in business in general, that they forget about. That a lot of people, they just want you to care.
That's a good point.
And I just realized for myself, just being a regional myself back in the day, that whenever I had the best teams and the best reps, that the one feedback for a lot of them is like they work better, they perform better when they know their leader cares, truly, genuinely cares for them, and not just see them as another number or a statistic or a paycheck.
Yep.
And one of the things I heard about you, how you ran the office, when I realized like, oh, that's how I knew you cared about your people. Because you were talking about how you had your table and you made sure you paid your people first, right? But I did hear that when you ran your office in Beechwood, that you paid for their maintenance. You paid for their maintenance and for their vehicles.
Yep.
The leaders didn't have to take care of that.
Yep.
Was that's true, right?
That is 100% true.
So for me, when I heard that, I was like, because I was a leader myself. It's like when my leader is taking care of my finance, making my job easier, making my life easier, so I can grow, so I can perform better, and he's doing that out of his own pocket. That just shows me the sincerity, and he does care about me. And then for me, when I know for myself, my leader cares about me, it just gives me so much confidence in myself that I can go out there and perform.
But I think it gives you confidence in yourself, but you also know, because people would say you're a leader.
Yeah.
Really, we're partners. We're partners in this thing.
Yeah.
So if you know your partner has got your back.
Yeah.
I had, I don't know if you want me to say this.
Go. Hey, go ahead, man.
I had a person that literally went to an area they didn't have a permit for.
Yeah.
And they wrote like 15 sales. The cops rolled up on them, picked them up. It's like, we're putting you in jail because blah, blah, blah. You didn't have this, and they were going to hold him. And this is how my group was.
Yeah.
He was so cocky in the back. He's like, I'm going to be out in 30 minutes and I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm getting a permit and I'm destroying this town. He calls me. He goes, yeah, they got me down here. It's 12:30 at night. What do? I get my vehicle. I roll down. I bail him out. And he gets in there and he's telling the cops, I'll be back. I'm like, Chris, relax. He's like, man, we don't roll like that, man. We roll like this. And I was like, oh, man. That's when you knew it was like, these guys are indestructible now.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you got my back. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And, but keep in mind, it really goes back to also, yeah, you can help people. Yeah, you can do this. Yes, you can care. But at the end of the day, you didn't get in this job not to make money.
Yeah, of course.
The number one most important thing is you have to pay people, and you have to pay them correctly.
Yeah.
And if you do that, when someone gets their paycheck, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
From being in this business, if you don't go to work, guess what? You don't make any money.
Yeah.
And if you do go to work, you potentially can make a lot of money, as you've already done. Yeah. So you have to be honest with people, but man, if they're making good money, people are like, man, the problem is you have to hold the accountability up there.
Yeah, accountability, yeah.
And that's, I think, the difficulty of this business is accountability. And, someone can literally go out to work here in Ohio for one day and work one day and make $800.
Yeah.
And work one day, $800.
Yeah.
And not even work a whole day.
Yeah.
And they're like, man. And what happens is you get someone that says, well, I really don't have to work that hard. And that's when you have to have this separate, and I don't want to say father conversations, because I don't really want to consider myself at that point, even though I have been that dude sometimes. But where do you want to go with your life? I mean, do you really just want to make enough money to get by? If that's what you want to do, just tell me, because I'm not going to waste my time or energy on somebody that just wants to get by.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help you get to where you want to be. And I hope it's not $800 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work all the time? No.
No, yeah.
But you're able to filter out the people that want to be and the people that don't.
Yeah.
And that's business, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, that's something that's something, the accountability part I do relate to, because the way I ran my office was, I told people, look, if you're here to make money and we're in the same, we here all for the same reason, I'm gonna be your biggest supporter. I'll do everything I can to help you. But the moment I see that you're not here to make money and you're not taking account of, you're doing things to hurt the business or hurt yourself, then because I cared for my people, but at the same time they knew like I was cut.
Yep. But you have to be like that.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, as we're sharing stories, I came from a different background.
Yeah.
I had multiple assistant regionals in my office that I was paying.
Yeah.
And, probably 50% of my office was young African-American men.
Yeah.
And I would have people that would come up and go, oh, my auntie died. And I'd be like, oh my God, man. Oh, take whatever time you need and go ahead and do this. And then 2 weeks later, they come back. Yeah. Oh man, one of my aunties died. I'd be like, oh my God. Oh, take all the time you need. Yeah. So Roger, one of my good friends to this day, older, we used to call him OG.
Yeah.
He came up to me and said, Dennis, can I holler at you a minute? I said, yeah. He comes in my office. He goes, I don't know if you know this, but when someone says their auntie dies, that doesn't mean it's their real aunt.
Yeah.
This is the funniest thing. He even tells the story when we have parties. He goes, you should see the look on Dennis's face. He was like, what do you mean? That could have been a friend down the block, somebody they knew. That doesn't mean they were related.
Yeah.
I'm like, nuh-uh. And he's like, I just want to tell you because these people are taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
So finally I said, look, man, I am 100% sympathetic to all the things people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
You have a death in the family, bring me the obituary, and you can have whatever time you want off. And then they look at Roger and go, man, you messed up the church's money right now. I'm like, man, I ain't playing this game no more. You want to take it off? Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I tell you, you could get me talking about door-to-door like forever because there's so many stories we could tell. You could tell. I could tell.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this. There are the life experience that I learned going door to door in a relation with people, the interaction, everything that goes wrong. It taught me so much in life. And I think it's made me a better person because like literally nothing bothers me. People say, well, blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, yeah, so, I mean, whatever. It's cool. Relax. Don't worry about what everybody else says. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Soak it in.
No, yeah. One thing I do know for a fact that I wouldn't be podcasting today if I didn't work for JE and if I didn't do door-to-door sales, because number one, it allowed me to overcome rejection and overcome adversity. When things don't happen from my life, or if somebody tells me no, because on podcasting, I ask people, I have to reach out to people and I ask people all the time, hey, you want to go on a podcast? And people tell me 99% of the time, they say no.
Right.
And I'm like, okay.
Rejection, right? Exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'll just ask the next. I'll just ask
I'll just go to the next door. It is what it is. Right? Yeah.
It is what it is. But also just learning how to talk to people, and the most important thing I think you said, like building relationships with people. I mean, if you're in sales, you understand like rapport is like the most. I think one of the biggest elements is getting a sale is building rapport with the customer.
Yep.
And for me, I've always been a people person. I like talking to people. I like really, I like having conversation with people. I'm just fascinated just to talk to somebody different.
Don't you think? And let me ask you a question, because this is something I always said, that my minor was in psychology.
Yeah.
And the psychology at the door to me is fascinating.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
If you are one of those type of people that thinks quickly, sometimes I used to get bored. I mean, I get bored because I would be doing so well that I'm like, I'm going to just tell them no. How it goes. Like I entertain myself at the door. People be like, I'm not interested. Well, that's fine. All right. Well, sorry to hear that. And I turn my back and people would be like, he's just walking away from me. And they're like, well, what is this all about? I'm like, look, I have a whole bunch of other customers.
Yeah.
This has got to be quick. And people will be like, let me go get my bill. And then I'd be like, gotcha. I mean, and sometimes I just create problems for myself just to make it more exciting. And what does that tell you? Again, this goes back to your guys and girls podcast that you have.
Yeah.
It's understanding the way men react, women react, this and that. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. You go to the door, and I used to always say this in my training classes. You're going to knock on a door, and you're going to get a guy to give you this. What? And I'll be looking down and be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
What do you need? Look, bro, I'm just here to make sure you're getting a 449 rate on your electric bill. Do you even pay the bill here? I pay the bill. I know for a fact this dude ain't even paying the bill, right? You pay the bill. So your name's on the bill?
Yeah.
Well, I pay the bills here. He's a man, so what does he want? He wants someone to think that he's paying the bills. When I know she's really paying the bills. It's funny. I'm just like, or you get a girl go, yeah, that's my man. So you're married? It's my man. You didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
Are you married? What does that have to do with it? Because you have to be legally married. Again, right? I mean, that's how people are. Men and women react different. So the things that you can learn from those interactions are just invaluable. It's invaluable.
He also taught me to be very observant too, and pay attention to details, right? Because like there's when you talk to a customer, there's a lot of things that they say that you can kind of tell you, what you need to do, how you need to react, what tool to use, what strategy you want to use, and that's something I kind of noticed. And it's funny you brought up you had a minor in psychology in college. I majored in psychology too. That was my major.
You majored? And I'll be honest with you, that's what I really wanted. That's really messed up messed up for me because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be a psychologist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I found out it took me 16 years in college to do this. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing all that. I mean, it was cool if I could do a 4-year and get my own.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to work that way. I was like, that's why I switched it to a minor. I mean, that's a lot of work, but it's fascinating how the mind works.
Yeah, how people think, how people behave, why people behave a certain way. That's something I've always wondered. And he's like, why do people act this way? Why do, especially when it comes to success, right? Okay, these guys are, when I first came to the industry, I looked at you, I looked at all these guys. Okay, these guys, why do they make a certain amount of money? And why are these guys not making a certain amount of money? But we all started from the same position, right? So that was always fascinating to me.
It was a good old boys club, unfortunately.
Yeah. I want to ask you. So when you had your dream was before your dream was just get a job and get the white picket fence, get married, have kids. Right. That was the dream you were taught. But I'm sure that at some point you realized, wait, I can actually become a millionaire. I can actually make a crazy amount of money. So at what point of your career did you realize, oh, this is your dream of just surviving and just making by, you realize for yourself that, oh, I can be a millionaire with this industry? what point of that was it? Which point?
Yeah. And no, I answer your question because
Yeah.
I said this when I speak around the country that
Yeah.
I literally, they shut down Ohio
Okay.
right after I took over this office, which was coincidental to me. So I thought it was a
Sabotage.
ploy. Eventually they opened back Ohio. So literally it was me and two people. And I had to build it back up from two people. And it took me about 6 weeks. And I got my first regional paycheck.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, some of this was my money as well that I wrote in there. It was all grouped in. You got to check. It was all together. But I made $6,200 and some odd dollars. And Will, I'm driving home thinking to myself, $6,000. And as I'm driving, remember, we got checks back then, right?
Yeah.
Like death clutch to my hand, right? I mean, it's like you're gonna have to pry this thing from my dead body, right? And I'm like $6,200 and some dollars. And here's me, good at math.
You're good at math, yeah.
Like almost $320,000 a year. If I can do that every week,
every week, yeah,
that's $320,000. Now, here's the thing: $320,000 a year to me sound unfathomable.
Yeah.
I was like, 320. Do you know what I could do? This is me on the way home, right?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this was only a 22-minute drive.
Yeah.
And you know how fast your mind is clicking, right? 322,000. Bro. Oh my God, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. And I'm just getting ready to pull into my condo place. And I'm pulling in and I'm like, if you made $6,000, why can't you make $10,000?
Yeah.
And then here I am. I get a cigarette. I roll down my window and I'm like, $10,000, 52 weeks. It's $520,000. That's $500,000.
Yeah, half a million.
And I'm like, bro, do you know people would shit in my small town if they knew I was making $500,000, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to do that. 6 weeks later, check was 11 grand. And then, then my mindset was, you made 11 grand, man.
You can make
$20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. Yep.
And when I got my second W-2, and it read or 1099, sorry.
Yeah, 1099. Yeah.
1.48000. I still have the picture in my phone. I'm like, you made almost $1.5 million. And I'm not a dancer, but I did a little dance and I was like, $1.5 million. And all of your people are eating crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, next year, this is it, man. I'm going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was over for me. It was a drug.
Yeah. I think that, yeah.
3 million, 3.6 million. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's when it hit me.
Yeah. One thing I have realized, I mean, I'm sure you see this all the time. One of the biggest things that stops a lot of people, or one of their biggest crutches in the business, they can't handle success, or they can't handle when they make a lot of money. I guess to your experience, you're a little bit older, but I'm sure you've seen it younger. When guys get their first paycheck, or a young regional gets his first regional paycheck, they
ball out.
They ball out, and they sometimes they lose their discipline, their focus, or their work ethic, because now they're making a certain amount of money. But did you ever get? But just hearing from you, you never had that. Like, you were just addicted. You just wanted more. And
here's what I'll tell you, and that's a absolutely amazing question.
Yeah.
Why? Because this is something I talk to. I have people all over the country that work in various different things right now.
Yeah.
And I'm on the phone 24/7 pretty much.
Yeah.
And I talk to some of these younger people.
Yeah.
And I always say, my son will literally finish my phrase. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Yeah. So please understand that if you want to be that guy, you have to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone deserves to reward themselves. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is some people have come from nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know what? The fact of having a brand new car to somebody is more rewarding than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they wanted all their life.
Yeah.
And that's okay to reward yourself, but you have to have a plan. So as a leader, a good leader, you know these checks are coming. You know what you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to do? Get ahead of that. Number one, I got good news for you, Will. You're going to make about $16,258 this week.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big pause. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's the bad news? Bad news is we got to talk about what you're going to do with your money. And I mean that seriously.
Yeah.
I want you to make sure that you're taking this money and putting a large chunk of it somewhere.
Yeah.
Remember how you and I talked, Will?
Yeah.
Remember how you said you want me to make sure that I'm kicking you in the ass and keep you in check?
Yeah.
You just got 16,000, Will.
Yeah.
Promise me. Promise me. You're going to get your paycheck one way or the other.
Yeah.
Promise me you're going to do a large chunk of money and you're going to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, of course, everybody's going to say, Dennis, man, you know, I promise.
Yeah.
How does that work all the time? You know, I mean, did I ever like ball out?
Yeah.
I was fortunate in a way that I was $186,253 in debt. You notice how that number comes?
Yeah.
It's etched in my brain for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
When I paid that off and that money was now liquid,
Yeah.
I was on cloud nine. And then I wanted to build that money to this. Now, keep in mind, when you've had a house taken from you, 2 vehicles taken from you, you know what my credit score was?
What was it?
Negative 658.
Yeah. Wait, is that possible?
No, it's not. No, it was terrible. So I was going to go out and buy a car.
Yeah.
And of course, my assistant regional, Raj, at that time, he says, man, I found one for you. We go down there. It's a Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen Mercedes in like magazines.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes down there and Raj is like, yeah, man, we want this one. He's like, get in. I'm like, well, you drive. He drove my Mercedes on the test drive. We come back and he's like, yeah, we want this one. And the guy's like, okay. And he slid paperwork to me.
Yeah.
He said, fill out your loan paperwork and how much you want to put down and we'll process.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him, I said, brother, I don't want to finance this thing. I want to buy it.
Yeah.
He said, it's 26,000. I said, I understand what you just said. I want to buy it. He goes, I have it ready for you in 30 minutes, man. We'll sweat her through the car wash and everything else. I wrote the check and I bought it.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is, now I had a Mercedes. I owed nothing on that thing. No,
yeah.
For the insurance. But I also had to understand the value of credit.
Yeah.
It was terrible. What did I have to? How do you have $1 million in the bank and your credit score is 521?
Yeah.
I said, man, I need a credit card. I go to the bank and they said, man, your credit's terrible. We can't give you one. You need a secured credit card. I said, well, what's that? They were like, you got to give us some money and we just give it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, like a prepaid card?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And you use this for a while? No joke. 2011, I'm using prepaid credit cards to build my credit score up. Why? Because it was that bad. It was, you have all this money, but your credit's terrible. Again, something that young people need to learn.
Yeah. That's the narrative of most door-to-door salespeople. Make a lot of money, terrible credit, no driver's license.
But you know what? I have changed so many lives like that now.
Yeah.
In fact that I preach stuff that is different from when I started.
Mhm.
It's building yourself,
Mhm.
have a goal.
Mhm.
What do you want to do with your money? If you want to run an office, that's great. If you want to do this to build some liquid income
Mhm.
so you can buy real estate, invest in stocks, do whatever you want to do, that's great. Put yourself in 2 years and you can make enough liquid income, as you know,
Mhm.
to do a lot of things with that money. But you
Mhm.
got to have a plan, one way or the other. I'm not trying to keep you under my wing to be part of my organization for the rest of your life, unless that's what you want to do. And if
Mhm.
you, I got a shitload of opportunities for you. But if you don't, let's at least make a plan so you can build up some income so you can do something with that money outside of buy new Nikes, a new car, go to Miami, go to here, go to do this, go party this, pop bottles, whatever you're going to do. You got to have a plan. So
I want to ask you this question because being regional, being a leader, we have to take care of our people.
yes,
All right, and then sometimes like we what's this, give me like the because sometimes our people fuck up. And you're just thinking in my what the why did you do this? But we have to, like, that's our responsibility. We gotta go take care of him. So
right.
do you have any stories of somebody in your office like they totally fucked up and like what, and you're thinking in your mind like, oh my god, like how did this happen?
When you say fucked up, do you mean financially or do you mean
It could be anything. It could be financially, you could like
I have
you,
someone to this day that still owes me $68,000.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
$68,000. And they've literally walked away from it. That's what a decent person makes in a year. And this person has walked away from it. I've probably lost more money, and this is no slap in the face to anyone, than probably 20% of the population has made in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And that just in money that I've loaned out that I've never got back.
Yeah.
But that's a learning experience. And
so what's your general rule when it comes to like helping people, especially when it comes to finance? Because I know every leader goes through this, if you're regional, even national, sometimes our people mess up financially, we got to take care of them. But what's your general rule? Like, how do you gauge it? Okay, especially 68,000. I mean, oof, that's a lot of money. $68,000.
here's the problem: 68,000, and that person, if they ever watch this video, they'll know who they are.
Yeah.
They played their kids, homeless, their wife, surgery, everything else to it. And what did I do? My heart
Oh.
is because I have kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids are like the most important thing to me. So as soon as you mention kids, my mindset goes from I'm on alert to, oh shit, I need to help the person.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten a lot more street smart than I've ever been before, because I'll say, look, man, someone will say, and in this business, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Because someone would come to you nowadays and they'd say, Will, can I borrow $20?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be look at you and you'd be like, all right, 20, wait, you're gonna get, I'll get you Friday, Will. And they look at you with the little, people would come to me like, yo, D, I need a stack real quick. You know how crazy that sounds?
Yeah.
You're asking for $1,000 like it's nothing. I mean,
like it's nothing. Yeah.
1,000 real quick.
Yeah.
Now it's open. What do you need the money for? What do you mean? I just need it. Okay, but you're asking me for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know where the money's going to go. Well, I have to pay some bills. Okay, well, how much have you written in the last 3 weeks? I don't. I mean, you can look. So you don't know. See, that's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
So we have financial insecurity here because you don't even know what you have coming in. How am I going to loan you money when I know I can't even get it back?
Yeah.
I'm good for it. Yeah, the check's in the mail. Yeah, I got you. All right. So I think I was taken advantage of for a very long time.
Of course.
It was one of those things, I like to help people.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of good people around me that adjusted my mind to say people are taking advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn that all myself. It was the group that I had around me and said, look, man, this dude's playing you. Quit. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Enough. They're not working. Don't give someone money that don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me because as soon as you mention kids to me, man, I'm like, oh, okay, man, what do I got to do? I need diapers. I need food. I need this.
Yeah.
We're going to get evicted. I don't want to see that because I was there. I
Yeah.
can relate. I don't want any. I know how hard that is.
Yeah.
Stuff. So is there a book to that?
I know.
Yep.
Yeah. It's one of the hardest things, especially when you it's people that you've worked with you for a long. You build relationships with people for a long period of time, so they almost become a family. They're like their family. Yeah,
They are.
Yeah,
Right.
they're literally your family because you pretty much helped their whole career. You saw it from the very beginning when they're little kids. When they say kids, I mean like they're sales reps, and you guide and build them. And I was the same way. I used to give large amounts of money, man. And I remember later on, I had to toughen up. Like I had to be more smarter because before I never ask questions. I mean, you need some money here, there you go, here, because I just trusted them. But then I realized they wasn't the best choice. Like I had to really make sure I protect myself. If I'm going to give money, I need to make sure I have parameters. I have something written to make sure I protect myself because people, and then they're gonna walk out. So then that's 68,000. That number just blows my mind. 68,000.
Yeah, my wife's not real happy about that whole situation, so I don't bring it up. But
yeah,
it's what it is.
Yeah. So I do want to ask you this. I think this may be a little kind of spicy, very little hot question right here.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've always heard when I was working with JE, one of the things, if you want to be a regional, want to be a national, work hard, build your business, do what you have to do, and then have a plan, have a goal, have a dream. But a lot of times, a lot of people would say, it's all about building relationships with the right people, understanding the politics of the company, and to make sure you align yourself with the right people so that they can help you out in your growth. So how did you navigate through that? Was there, let me ask you, was there politics at JE that you had to, were there politics that you had to navigate through to make sure you had to be with the right people and to make sure that they can help you in your growth to go from regional to national? I'm interested here because that's something I've always heard growing when I was a regional. Hey, talk to this guy. Make sure you good terms with this guy. And but I'd never got to a national level to really have to do that. I was just a regional. But
Wait,
I want to ask you,
just a regional. Do you understand there were only so many of them? Right? I mean,
well, yeah. Well,
let's not mitigate. I was just a regional. I mean, you were a regional. Okay?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to you. So we're just having a casual conversation. Because we're just talking about our stories back in the day.
Would have loved to have been a regional.
yeah. I understand. Right. I understand.
Okay. So to answer your question, Will.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is a big storyline behind this, but I played the game.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm smart.
Yeah.
But I knew how it was and what I had to do. Yeah. But I also understood the business.
Yeah.
Let's face it. If you're doing that kind of business, you can start to do things that people would say you shouldn't be doing or asking for or telling people. Why? Because I started to feel myself.
Yeah.
And I felt myself because I've always been, my wife is Anglo-Indian.
Yeah.
Okay? And I've always been a very culturally diverse person. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that anybody is any different than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Outside of, look, if you can type faster than me, then you should have that job. If I can do this, then you should have that. That's how I feel. That wasn't the way it was at JE.
Mm-hmm.
So again, remember when you get bored, I used to entertain myself.
Yeah.
So I pushed the envelope and I started telling people, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't understand. I said, no, you don't understand. You not understand. And then I would have Richard call me and go, Dennis, you understand you just told Jay. I said, man, I don't give a fuck what Jay says. I said, please understand, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, I mean, that's fine. I'll leave.
Yeah.
Was that an option? Absolutely fucking not. I mean, it was for me because I was good. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have fired me and I'd have been like, all right, so what?
Yeah.
I'll do something else. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing, but I'm going to,
Yeah.
but I threaten them that way.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that aloud, but I will. I threaten them to the point where, do you not think that I can't do this again? And trust and believe if I do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming for you. You're either going to work with me or against me.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? They work with me.
Yeah, work with you.
And that's how I got all the offices. I want this, I want this, I want this.
Yeah.
And part of that was part of the development because I had people that were doing so well, I needed to have somewhere for them to go. They
Mm-hmm.
needed to see advancement in their career
Mm-hmm.
for my business and their business to do better.
Mm-hmm.
You got people that aren't doing shit in this office. Give it to
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm moving this guy and a group of 7 people to this office, and we're going to do more than they did. And they've been there 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, what you say and what you do are 2 different things. So you got to do what you say. And when you do that, the guy that's a regional there now is starting to make some money. And guess who he believes in?
Yeah.
Me. And all of a sudden, I'm sending some more people down there. Why? I want to pump up his numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure he's good. Once he solidifies everything, I want the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of politics, but it's not just JE, right?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's
There's always politics. Yeah.
And, word of advice, know your worth. My father used to say when we were young, don't ever let your mouth right gas, right?
You can't cash. Yeah.
So you got to know if you're going to say something, you better back it up. Because if you don't, everything you say from that point going forward means nothing.
Yeah.
So you got to be on attack mode. And in this business, it's so funny. People can say whatever they want about JE.
Yeah.
To this day, JE was an amazing company.
Oh, yeah.
And amazing in the sense that think of all the things that we were taught and we learned there.
Yeah.
I will never say anything. Are there politics there? Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. Yeah.
I like what they did. Absolutely not. Do I have anything bad to say about them? No. I mean, I learned a lot. I got an education that I couldn't have got or you couldn't have got in college.
Mm-hmm.
Think of all the things we learned. Think of all the money we made.
Yeah.
You're podcasting now. You wouldn't have been doing that had you not been in this business.
Yeah.
But I've taken it to another level. Now, guess what? I don't need them. I can do this myself.
Yeah.
I can do it on levels that they didn't even think about. You know why? Because they now I'm a gunslinger. I'm a gunslinger in the fact that I'm going after everything and I can fill the voids in. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
And we're all going to do well. And we are going to build businesses for everybody to make money.
Yeah.
And it's cool when you get to my point. I mean, cool in the sense, like, I'm not like really sweating it. Well, you're only making like $3 a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I'm making something. These people do well. And if I make $3 a deal on, I don't know, 15 different groups, that's $20,000 a week.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Are they going to leave me for $3? No.
Yeah.
No. And they're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. So when you go down and it's someday, all of us, I mean, we all have an expiration date.
Yeah.
And, I'm completely comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with the fact that no matter what happens, whenever it is that it's over, but nobody's ever going to say I was a liar, a cheater, or a thief.
Yeah.
And I know that what I did was right. So did I buck the system at JE? Yeah, I did it on purpose because I didn't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of politics. And you already know there was a lot of politics.
Yeah.
You just wanted me to justify or solidify what you just already knew. So I could say, yeah, there was a lot of politics.
I want to ask you this: how did you do? Because I'm pretty sure this happened to you. You know, the one thing I've always heard stories, and I've gone through it personally when I realized like there are certain people ahead of me that were trying to purposely hinder my growth for whatever reason. But I've seen it. I've seen it in the business where if you start shining, outgrowing, if people get uncomfortable, people can't compete. People, they're everybody's trying to. At the end of the day, like you said, we're all in the business of making money, and it was just it's a competition at the end of the day. And for some people, for me, like I like to compete. You know, if you like, I don't care if you're out there killing me. Then I'm not the type of person to tear you down. I'm gonna up level my game so I can compete with you. But then there's certain people in this world that if you compete with them, they want to tear you down instead of just trying to compete with you. But let me ask you: did you ever feel like there was people in the business trying to hold you back? And because
when I started, initially when I started, but I will tell you this: I'm over that. I'll bring this up. One of your mentors, and literally my best friend, passed away this year.
Yeah.
And he was getting severely underpaid.
Yeah.
And when I came across the information, and I'm not going to tell you how I did that, but I came across the information, I shared it with him.
Yeah.
And I shared it with him because I thought it was tragic that he was putting up 1,000+ deals a week, and the guy above him was making more money than he was making on his own deals.
Yeah.
And I said, at that point, we formed a relationship where he would call me, and he said, "Why are you helping me?"
Yeah.
I said, "Look, if you can beat me with my own tools, that means you're better than me.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that. That's just going to make me work harder."
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. And it was a fierce, as you remember, it was a fierce competition after that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Guess who? Everybody in that picture made a lot of money. They all made a lot of money. You made a lot of money. I made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. All out of competition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I think people in general, like, you just went back to, you want people to do well. People say that and speak.
Yeah.
I don't believe all that. I believe that, like, I don't hate on nobody.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
You got to get to a point in life where you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
Comfortable with who you are. Look at my Facebook page. Look at my Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
Look at anything I have. You will never, on that page, Will, and you could go back to, I don't even know when those started.
Mm-hmm.
You will never find a picture of money. You will never find cars.
Yeah.
You will never find anything but inspirational quotes and an occasional picture of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I post on there. I'm not all about that life. If I have to impress Will with how much money I made, I failed.
Yeah.
What I really need to impress Will with is my willingness to help Will get to the next level and be committed to doing that. And I want Will to do well. And look, if Will does better than me, great. I'm not upset by that. What am I afraid of? Well, might take Will is doing what Will does.
Yeah.
And if I am helping Will do or assisting Will in any way, shape, or form, what ill will does Will have on me?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to Will.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about it. I want him to do well.
Yeah.
You can't be a hater in life. And I think, again, we went to this young old thing. I think that really happens with ego for men
Yeah.
when they're younger. And everybody's got into, who's got more. And I laugh about that. I laugh inside, not out loud. It like, do you want to compare bank accounts? We can go that route.
Yeah.
If you're looking for me to show you what I have, I live a very modest life for me, anyways. And I know what's important to me. And what's important to me is not posting a car, is not telling everybody what party I was at and doing this and doing that. What did I do today? I golfed with my son because he just came up. That's what I did today. That was really important to me. Did I post that on Instagram or Facebook? No, that's a private thing to me. You really have to be a person, I think, and maybe you got to get through, I don't know, I say this, and maybe it's an overused phrase. You have to live bad before you can live good, because you can't appreciate good. Bad.
Yeah.
But you know what happens, Will? Somebody will say, again, I'm going to swear, I'm kind of fucked up right now, Dennis. My phone's off. That's not fucked up. That's an inconvenience. You don't understand fucked up. Fucked
Bad.
Up is you're living at Motel 6 like I did for 8 months. Fucked up is not seeing your kids for a year and a half. Because you were deemed as an improper father. Fucked up is none of that stuff is fucked up. Appreciate what you got and build on it. Don't hate on Will just because he's doing well. That has nothing to do with Dennis. Be happy, man. Just be happy.
I want to ask you this, just to follow up your hate comment. How many genuine people that you met in JE that were really genuine, that like they didn't really hate, because I've seen some fucked up shit.
Yeah, we all, right?
Right. People just backstabbing this person.
Yep.
And there was very few people you just met that was really genuine, really cared, and really did things the right way. How did you navigate through that, knowing that maybe like the people you're working with, or the people above you, or whatever, just that these people are not as genuine as you are? But how did you navigate through this and still maintain the discipline to keep doing what you're doing? Because for some people, they can't handle, like they just too focused. They let that distract them from the work they need to do. So how did you overcome that?
Smile. And when I mean smile is, again, I've got this T-shirt in my closet. Though I walk the shadow of valley of death, I fear no evil. You know why? I'm the baddest motherfucker in the valley. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I don't care who's talking about me. I don't care who's on the phone stabbing me in the back. I don't care. I don't care. And I mean, I truly don't care, because my priorities aren't, you asked me on this podcast. And you could get off this podcast and go, man, Dennis is an asshole. I don't even like him. And you know what? That's not going to change my life.
Exactly.
I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And I'm not going to be, I don't worry about that. People worry about noise. And it's all static. Let it go, because you can't be successful if you're worried about what the next guy is doing. And that's our world today, though, right? I mean, everybody's worried about what everybody else is doing. Why? What does that have to do with you? Well, I don't want so-and-so to get one up on me. And I heard that so-and-so, Will heard from so-and-so that so-and-so was talking about. Did you ever play that game when you were a kid? You start a story, and by the time it gets it's screwed up, right?
It's totally different story.
Exactly. So unless I hear, and I'm one of those type of people, they'll say, oh, well, so-and-so is upset because they think you did. And I'm like, really? Yeah. And they told you that? Yeah. All right, let me call you back. I don't text that person. I will call them directly. I don't do that whole text game. Look, I mean, what's the problem? Well, I heard you were, oh, no, I didn't. I mean, it wasn't like that, D. I was, well, I mean, I just want to bring it out in the open. I mean, if you mad about something, what is it? I mean, we can talk about it. I always tell people, they say, well, blah, blah, blah. And you know how everybody gets up, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody. And I'll say, look, man, 315 Solon Road, Chagrin Falls, Ohio. There's my address. I'll leave the door open. Come see me, and we can talk about this like men.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason for any of that. That's a problem with our world. We worry too much about what everybody else says. Who cares? Live your life. I get it. We're very socially sensitive. We got cancel culture. We got this, that. We ain't even going into all that. I don't care what anybody else says.
Yeah.
I got to do what's right for me, my family, and my family is not just my family by blood.
Yeah,
it's my family of everybody I have around.
Yeah.
Which you already know because you ran an office, and if you
I ran off.
You had a family.
Yeah, I'm the same way. For me, I don't believe until I hear from somebody's mouth. Yep. So if I hear something, I'm like, let me like who it is, and I will call them. Like I'll do the same thing. I'll call them directly, talk, and just talk it out, man to man. That's
But see, that's smart. You know what? Most people will bitch back and forth with somebody else.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, they said this, they said that. Man, look, I want to talk to that motherfucker directly. All right?
Yeah, I want to hear from his mouth.
What did you say? This is what I heard. I'm not accusing, but do we have a problem?
Yeah.
And you know what? 99% of the problem, there is no problem.
There's no problem.
There is no problem.
Every time.
Yep.
When I call him, hey, do we have a problem?
Right.
No, we're good.
We're good. Right. Exactly. And you put that stuff up, and it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
And then I'll call the person back that called me, and I said, look, man, shit done. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but I mean, and you know what happens? That eliminates that person calling you again. You know why? Because they know you're going to call someone directly.
Yeah.
Less problems.
I want to ask you this: Has there ever been people that talk certain things about you, but then you met them in public, and you checked them? This, because there's certain people I've heard things talk about me, and then there's levels to it. There's certain there's certain people I knew that just hate my guts, but I don't care. But then when I meet them in public, like I will confront them, because I'm not just gonna
Corey Pritchett.
I'm not just gonna let that person just talk shit about. I'm gonna confront you. Yeah. So hey, did that happen?
Yeah. And that was Darren's brother.
Yep.
And I'm sure everybody's heard the stories, but Corey Pritchett and I got into 3 separate fistfights, which was witnessed by a multitude of people. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm like a really calm,
collected person.
Individual. But I also, maybe part of it is the way I grew up, and part of it is what I went through. I have a line in the sand. And if you cross that line, my mindset changes.
Yeah.
And if you're going to talk about me, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
And then when you respond in some certain type of way, Houston, we got a problem.
Houston, we got a problem.
That's what it was. And I think everybody was shocked that this dude just hit him in the face. Yeah. And if you didn't pull me off of him, I would have hit him again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
I mean, you not want to talk to me like that.
You
understand you can get fired? So? Fire me? Fire me.
Yeah.
Do you understand when I go back and tell all of these people in all of these offices what happened? How many people are you going to lose?
Yeah.
Let's play that game. I mean, that's cool. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
He was the only person at JE that I particularly did not like.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say did not like, I really did not like him.
Yeah.
He actually motivated me, to be honest with you, because when I first became a regional, we used to have regional calls that Darren would hold.
Yeah.
And Corey got on there and said, I will have the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 offices in the country. I'm on the call and we already number 2. And I'm thinking, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
I wrote it down on a piece of paper and stapled it to my wall.
Yeah.
From then on, it was game on for me and him.
Yeah.
So then once I passed him and beat him, he made all kinds of excuses. Well, this happened and that happened. And then it was personal between the two of us. That's the only person I can say to this that it's got to that point. That dude, to this day, if I see him on the street, I'd probably hit him again. I ain't gonna lie. I would. That's just me. I just hit him just because.
Yeah.
Because they didn't let me hit you enough the last time. I mean, I just want to finish it, right?
We know
terrible. I know, but I'm just...
hey, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What, all three times was that during company trips? Like, was this during like how did usually when you beat somebody and you learn the first time, like they learned the first time, right?
Because it's embarrassing to him. It was embarrassing for me to beat him up in front of his own brother and all his peers.
Yeah.
So he had to justify what happened and then talk shit. Well, then, of course, all these other people that are high up would come back to me and go, well, Corey said this, that, what? And I was like, and you're a man. I'm a man. Okay? Yeah. So I use this word only at certain times.
Yeah. And
I said, he's a bitch ass. And people were like, what? I said, man, you can tell him I said that.
Yeah.
I said, look, I will meet him in Syracuse and beat his ass. I really don't even, you ain't gonna get me start swearing. But,
yeah.
So next time we seen each other, he's looking, and of course, this is now go male attitude, right? I'm looking at him, I got my huge group around me, and I'm looking at him, I go, the fuck are you looking at? Well, he wanted to walk up like he was going to be tough, and I'm like, don't do it to yourself, bro. Please do not do it. And he did it. Then it started again. And the following night, he went to the bathroom. And, I was drinking a little bit. So what I do? Followed him into the bathroom. It was what it was. I mean, the third time, I think he realized that I was not going to quit. And they were not going to fire me. So it was what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not a story that I would tell my children. Yeah. But I mean, we all go through shit. I'm over it now. I wouldn't hit him again though. I ain't gonna lie.
No, it's just man. Like the first time, that's what I usually see with people. The first time, man to man, we hash things out, we get it done. And but some people just they
don't learn.
They don't learn.
He's a stubborn Canadian. He's from Newfoundland.
Hey, one thing I've realized for the people I've met in the past that I had to correct. A lot of people don't correct them. They're around yes people, so they've never been around people. Everybody around there's yes. And I've met people like that all the time where they'll come to me and treat me a certain way. And I'm like, yo, you gotta. I'm not cool with that. I'm not fly with it. You gotta check yourself. And they act like that. That's like I realized when I talked to them, that's the first time they ever heard that from somebody. And I just kind of realized.
I think
go ahead.
That's part of growing up too.
Yeah.
And when I'm growing up, you growing as a leader.
Yeah.
Because if you're passive all the time, people that will register on their radar.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's just like kids.
Yeah.
Kids will push the envelope until they realize they can't push that envelope to that point.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't create, and I made my own mistakes like that. Look, I lost a ton of money, did a ton of things, helping people. And you're right, you learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'd always like to say that I think now, maybe not before, I don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
In the past, I did. And I openly admit that. I mean, I made failures, and I say failures because they were failures, by allowing people to do things that I should have already registered to me was not good. What did I want to do? I want everybody to be happy. When I realized that that's not the way to run a business, and you don't run a business on fear, but you run it on structure, and they have to understand that there are consequences.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything we do in life, right? If you speed down the street at 60 miles an hour in a 35 and you get pulled over, oh, it's not your fault? Will, it's 35. You were doing 60, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you know the rules. Play by the rules, know what it is. And, you know, you could get me going on this. I think this is a problem with the generation now. Is the generation now has not been checked. And I mean checked in a sense that
held accountable.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, unfortunately, it's not entirely their parents' fault. Because of the way the economy is now. Both parents have to work. They're gone all the time. They're not able to be the parents that they would really want to be, or at least most of them. And kids are left alone more. And you got the internet now, right? So you have that kind of issue. You know, back in my day, there was no internet. Right? One parent worked, one parent was at home. If you stepped out of line, you got fucked up.
There's consequences.
What it is. I mean, you got fucked up. So you knew what the lines were. Now nobody knows where it is line. Nobody knows these lines. I agree with you 100%, bro. 100%.
Not even young people. I've met some older people too. Like they don't know the boundary of the line, and I have to draw that line sometimes. You know, and but then I realized like nobody has ever done that for them.
I agree.
And I gotta do what Dennis did. I gotta, you know.
All right, let's not go there too much. But yeah.
I did it out of love to support the teacher.
Right. Everybody has called me and they're like, "Man, I heard the stories. I got these people that told me this happened and that." I'm like, "Yeah, it happened." All right. I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
Hey, I do want to talk about. Since we talk about stories, I do want to talk about like the company, the trips. You know, it's funny. When I went on these company trips, I saw a lot of crazy things happen on these trips. Oh my. So before, you know, I mean, for me personally, when I went on my first trip, I met all these people. Man, I didn't realize like how what do you call it? I'm trying to say what's the best word? Man, there's a word for I can't believe I just crossed my mind. But I guess the best way to explain. I didn't realize everybody was sleeping with each other.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, so it is 100%. You know, and I'm one of those type of people. My name's Bennett. I ain't in it. And whatever I saw, that has nothing to do with me. And it is what it is. It's scorched earth. But I mean, I've been going up elevators, watching two people getting off at 3 a.m. in the morning and seeing these two people get off, and they were holding their heads down. And I was just like, man, whatever you're doing is what you're doing. It's crazy.
What's your most memorable trip?
What was my favorite trip?
Favorite trip,
I guess from a fun standpoint, I mean, I've been to the Dominican Republic 16 times. I absolutely love the Dominican Republic. I actually have like real friends there. I love the Dominican, but I think my favorite trip ever was probably, you know, people say Hawaii because we won another Office of the Year there. We won Office of the Year in Scotland and Ireland. And I think as far as places to be, I would go back to Scotland and Ireland in a heartbeat. And I thought what I saw and the experience that I saw there was amazing. Pubs, the food, the people. Now, mind you, that's not on everyone's bucket list because it's not like 90 degrees and there's a beach there. But the castles, just everything I saw, it was just effing amazing. I think that was my favorite trip. I mean, we won Office of the Year out there as well. But Hawaii, I mean, mind you, that was on Pearl Harbor. And that was just, I mean, the fact that we were having an event at Pearl Harbor was just like surreal. And to see the planes and to see, it was like, oh my God. But, you know, they also set those trips up. If you remember, Hawaii was not all inclusive, and Hawaii is very expensive.
Yeah.
So for reps that won trips and, you know, maybe had $1,000 to take on a trip, Hawaii was very expensive. So
yeah, he was.
It wasn't like the Dominican. It wasn't like Mexico. It wasn't like all these other places. When you were all inclusive, they could drink, eat whatever they wanted. If they wanted to go off the resort, that $1,000 would be fine.
Yeah.
But if you're in some of those others, that was not cool.
Well, what was it like your wildest moment in the trips?
Oh my God. I couldn't even put it to one. I've probably bailed I don't know, at least a half a dozen people out of jail in foreign country.
Oh wow.
I have watched things that I couldn't believe the whole elevator story were happening. I mean, people that I knew, like personally, on very high levels.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. Okay. I mean, I'm not even going to go into because I'm not putting any name out there, but I saw some stuff that if I wanted to blackmail some people and make some money, I'm not even lying here. I mean, wow.
Yes.
You know, I've watched people. I mean, if you remember in the Dominican, when the guy jumped off the 4th floor balcony and all over a girl and life flighted him and everything else. And that was like traumatic for that trip. And then you've also seen, you know, I've watched people propose on trips. I've watched, I mean, there was a lot of good things about those trips. There was also a lot of things that I think to myself, oh, Jesus, man. Oh, goodness. I did win at the Dominican Republic. I won $68,000 at a blackjack table.
Oh, okay.
In one night. And I'm not even gonna lie, it's a good thing that I had like 15 people that literally sat around me, and I was so drunk winning all this money, and they're gathering up my chips. I woke up in my room, there were chips all over the floor, chips in the bed. Everybody comes up my room, we're trying to gather up all the chips because I drank them. And then, you know, for tax reasons, we had to send certain people down to cash X amount of chips in, X amount of chips in, X amount of chips in. And then we had to divide that money. So everybody had so much money to take home with them so we could get across the border. So, there were a lot of good times. I mean, I'm sure you had an amazing time on some of those trips, right?
Oh, yeah. I had some great times. The one thing I would say that after seeing all these people sleep with each other, there are certain people that I could never look at them the same way.
I know, right? I know, right?
After I could never look at them the same way after I saw what I saw on these trips.
Hey, Will, hold on one second.
Go ahead.
All right, sorry about that. My son just.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I was just saying that.
I know exactly what you're saying though, because I we could share stories offline.
Yeah.
Not online, but yeah, you would not believe the stuff that I know. I mean,
yeah.
And sometimes I thought, was I drinking? And I take a double take. And I'm like, wow, that just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't say, you guys know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, even though it's your podcast. Right?
Yeah, go ahead. Of course.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
What do you think is the most valuable thing you learned in door-to-door sales?
The most valuable thing
that you learned?
Yeah, what I learned. Building relationships.
Okay.
I think out of the most important thing that I've learned is the importance of building quality relationships with people. Of course, I know I worked hard for it. I know, you have to work hard. Like you say, you have to work hard. What you put into it is what you get out of it.
Yep.
But the one thing I realized is like the making sure that it doesn't matter who you meet in life, always try to put in the effort to build a quality relationship with that person. And for me, that's something I realized, especially even to this day, that I know for a fact that I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And if you work in door-to-door sales, I'm sure you know you work with all types of people, all different types of people. You're gonna meet people that may have you may not agree with, you may not like, but you have to learn to deal with it and learn still to build a relationship with people. And I didn't, because before I only associated myself with people I liked. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't spend time with. I wouldn't even think about building a relationship with that person. But learning.
Do you think it got you out of your shell?
Yeah, definitely.
Shell, I mean, it made you more diverse, maybe. I mean,
I would say that's number 2.
Okay.
My social skills, communication with people. I'm like you. I'm a calm person. I just like to sit back. I just like to sit back, chill, relax. I'm not the what did you say before the podcast? Those guys that the pump people up. What do you call it? What are they?
Right. The
juicers. I'm not a juicer. Nope. Maybe my energy, my personality may be juice, but as far as like, right. I'm always just put my head down, go to work, lead by example. But I think the most important thing was just trying. I know for a fact that if I didn't build relationships with certain people and just put in the effort and try to, regardless of how the relationship turned out, but I wouldn't be where I'm at today on gone as far as ahead in my career at JE without building those relationships and going out. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
If you were to give advice to somebody today,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not talking about relationship wise.
Yeah.
When you give somebody advice today, let's just say, how old are you, Will?
I'm 29.
Okay. Let's say you were going to give advice to someone that was 21 years old,
mm-hmm.
and you could give them one piece of advice. What would it be?
At 21 years old, I would tell them find something. No, at 21 years old, that's what I would say. Honestly, at 21 years old, because I know this is what every single 21 years. This is what I thought about when at 21 years old was don't stop chasing women. Stop chasing women.
Okay.
And just find something you're good at and put your energy into that one thing and be great at that one thing. And that's how I would say. Because at 21, I remember I didn't join JH until I was 23.
Okay.
So from like 18 to 23, all I did was just have fun, party, chase women, and my life wasn't going anywhere. And then what JE taught me was when I got to JE that was really when I was realized, well, I was at a point in my life I was broke and nothing else was going on for my life. But I realized is in order to be good at something, you really had to put be really focused and put all your eggs in one basket, and go to work. And I wasn't the best salesperson.
You were pretty fucking good, bro. don't
mean,
try and like act like you were. I mean, you were
no.
you were really up there.
Well, but that was just a
You
reflection.
carried some of those deals that would have made it a lot easier for me if you would have just taken a back seat. But go ahead.
but that was just through work ethic. You know, that was for me. That was like I wasn't a natural. I didn't like, you know, if you would have listened to my pitch and my sales presentation, you would have laughed. You're like, is this guy really the top producer? I just walked faster like you. I just walked faster like
but didn't you win the gas championship?
The Gord Oaks.
Gord Oaks? Yeah.
Okay.
So you won the Gord Oaks, right?
Yeah.
But you were just not that good. I mean, I'm still trying to go ahead.
Look, even to this day, I'm still dumbfounded at what I did. Like, because if I would, before, like you said, like before you went to JE, you were $186,000 in debt.
Yep.
You just divorced and you're going through so many trials and tribulations. For me, the amount of the things I've done in my life, the amount of success I've had in JE, those were things like I will say, like, you know, maybe it was serendipity. Like I didn't plan for those things to happen. You know, it wasn't things I envisioned to happen in my life. Even to this day, I'm like, how did I do that? You think about it all the times.
You ever touch yourself and go, wow?
Yeah. I pinched myself.
Real.
I really, even when I got promoted and became a regional, the next day I had to stop myself and pinch myself. Yeah, wait, is this real? Am I really regional today? Because I never thought I would achieve that, or maybe even achieve it that fast. But that's my advice for my 21-year-old self, you know, to other 21-year-olds. You know, because I know most 21-year-olds right now, all they care about is chasing girls or chasing sex. I would say just focus on one, find something you're good at and something you love, and invest into that and be the greatest and be great at that one thing. Because if you're great at something, the money will come. You know, money will come, the success will come.
Guess what else will come?
What?
The women.
The women, yeah.
Because
like
you know what a woman doesn't want is somebody that doesn't have their head together, right?
Yeah.
So if you are that guy, and I mean that guy, not, you know, Will's making all the money that Will was making, but Will has got his priorities together. Yeah. And you also, let's face it, you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up. I did.
I'm not saying that you were, you know, some young punk before, but I mean, you grew up in the fact of, I got responsibilities. That's a big thing. You learned a lot of things. You became more responsible. That's attractive to a woman. Yeah. It's like, wow, he's got his stuff together. He's all about his business. He's this. And when you start getting that way, you not got your head on a swivel anymore looking at every woman. You just like, man, look, I got my head straight up going for this. And you know who does have their head on a swivel? All those women going. And you see that guy, he didn't even look at me. He didn't even look at me. Yeah. Right? I'm not, I would be a testament to that. I would say as soon as I'm making money, I did get more attention. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. My sexual life did improve. I'm not gonna. Yeah, of course it did. Because no matter what anyone says, that improves life, right? My father gave me advice one time at the table. We were playing cards, and my mother said, this is when I was at JE, probably the third year. And, you know, I worked like 7 days a week. Well, I mean, we all did, right? Like some ridiculous hours. And she's like, you know, Dennis, money doesn't buy happiness. And my dad had on his glasses and he pulled them up. He's a big dude. Yeah. You know, your mother's right? I'm like, yeah, Dad. He put his glasses back down. My mother walked away after she put more food on the table. She walked away. And then my dad picked up his head and he goes, looked around. Didn't see my mother there anymore. And he goes, but let me tell you something. I'm a hell of a lot happier with money than I am without. Yep. Yep. And that's the goddamn truth. Yeah. Right? I mean, money does not buy happiness. And I 100% agree with that. but it does create, or it does solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, solve a lot of problems. Makes your life easier.
It sure does. And anybody who doesn't see that is lying too. They're lying.
No, what did they always say? People that say that people that say money doesn't buy you happiness, they haven't made enough money, something like that.
Haven't made enough money. I mean, and don't get me wrong, you can spend too much time not enjoying life.
Yeah.
And I think you need some downtime.
No, of course.
You schedule downtime. You need to, but also your business has got to run. But, at the same token, look, I couldn't have got someone to stay at my house and help tutor my son while he was here, while I was working these hours. I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have flown my kids up for Christmas. I couldn't have done any of that if I wouldn't have had money.
Yeah.
So, but that's the reason I worked, is so I could have those things.
Yeah.
Have those things because that was important to me. But I do agree with you 100% with the whole tell a young person, as I tell, I have 3 boys. And I tell them all the time, understand one thing. The girl you meet today, you're not going to be with 3 years from now.
Yeah.
And if you are, you're going to have issues. Yeah. So enjoy life, have fun. Don't think about marriage until you get a little bit older and get your life on stability. Because, you see all the power couple, right?
Yeah.
What a joke. And when I say what a joke, I'm not trying to insult Jay-Z or anybody else.
Yeah.
But a power couple is really got to be not she's making a lot of money and you're making a lot of money. And it took me, 10 years to find it?
Yeah.
You really got to have that woman that, like, literally, and I'll say this as gangster is, she'll bury the body for me and not even think twice. And I mean that 100% wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of relationship, that kind of trust, and that kind of mindset, you can do what you got to do. She can do what she's got to do. You meet in the middle to have your time to do this and do that, but everything is productive.
Yeah.
You got that static relationship, and I'm sure you can probably attest to this. How many guys do you know, and I bet you don't have enough fingers or toes right now, that have been in this business that have been literally stone cold killers? I mean, guys, probably some of them should have been regionals. I mean, just killers, this and that were ruined. And I'm not throwing her under the bus, but were ruined by a woman.
Of course, all the time.
Hook up with a woman, and all of a sudden, oh man, my girl said, and I'm like, what? I mean, that doesn't even compute in my head. She said, man, D, you don't understand. I've been working all these hours. She needs some time for me. I'm like, bro, you took time last week, this week. Yeah. You're working like 3 days a week right now. Yeah, I know, man, but I'm still going to get 30 this week. Oh my God. Here we go. You're not building a business anymore. You're just moving. You're trying to float.
Yeah. I want to ask you, so when you're a millionaire right now, you're making money. When do you how was it when as far as you when you realized like women started being attracted to you, giving you attention? When did that click for you? When did that click for you?
I was very bitter after my divorce.
Yeah.
And I was bitter in the fact of unjustly.
Yeah.
I literally was angry at every woman. And I don't mean angry like openly, but I was like, I don't trust any of you.
Yeah.
I know what you all on, blah, blah, blah. And then when I started making money, it's funny. You find things that here I am 39 years old, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At 41, I've already made well over $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing well for myself.
Yeah.
I got this nice condo overlooking the river. Everything's good.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, at 41 years old, I got 19, 20, 21, 23-year-old girls knocking on my door at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hell no. I said, first of all, I cannot have this right now because, I mean, not that I didn't want it, but I can't have it because you understand that you about to fuck up everything I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was literally the most eligible bachelor.
Yeah, of course.
Because I would never date or mess with anybody I worked with. That was my rule.
Of course. Oh, that was my rule too, yeah.
If they were a rep in the office, they were an admin, and God knows, we know how many reasons they're messing with their admins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think that was like a common thing, but I was never like, I'm not doing that. This is my money.
Yeah.
I can't have that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy when you start doing well, the more attention you got.
Oh, of course.
You know, I'll have get-togethers over here. There'll be 50 people over here. And then, oh, I drank too much. Can I just spend the night? I'm like, you can go in the other bedroom and go to bed, but like we ain't having. And then I got to have one of my dudes stay over because I got to have a witness, right? I can't have none of this right now.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's crazy. And it doesn't even matter in this business. In
any business,
any business. If you're doing well for yourself, I mean, look at you doing podcasts, right? So all of a sudden people are, oh, look at Will. Oh, right? I mean, it's notoriety. I don't know. I will never let anyone get in the way. I said that before my girl. No one will ever get in the way of my money. Yeah. So it is me, my children. Now with my girl, that's it. I'm on that mode and we doing that and that's what it is. But you can't, I mean, even to this day, I'll have girls knock at the door and I'm like, no. We good. Oh, you want to meet me out for this? You want to do this? No, I'm good. I mean, I don't want to disrespect you in that way, but please understand, I cannot have that kind of noise. You'll see.
No. I was the same way. Like, I mean, you already know if you're regional, if you're successful, you have a lot of women and working under you, they're gonna be attracted to you. But that's always been my rule. Like, my money comes first.
I know it's trips.
Yeah, those trips.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my
God, if you are a regional, you are a dead ringer, bro.
Oh, if you're regional, especially if you're regional and you're a bachelor, right? Yep. It's not like they care whether you're bachelor or not.
No, they do not care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Me, they do not care.
But if they knew you were a bachelor, they even focus on you more. Because but yeah, my money came first. Because when I made my first $2,000 paycheck, that literally blew my mind.
Yep.
And I was like, I think you ever watch Shark Tank?
I have.
Who's that guy? The bald guy? What's his name? The bald guy, Mr. Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, I forgot his name. What's his name? I remember he said something that I always think about all the time. He was like, you know what? When it comes to choosing your money and choosing a woman, this is what he said. It was like, which one's harder to replace?
It's true. And now you're going back to your other podcast because now you're going back to your male thing. And, at the same token, if you find that right woman.
Oh, yeah, of course. The right woman.
Then
of course.
That is impossible to replace. And, I will say this, and we're straying off the subject, but just to get in 1 second.
Go ahead.
There are women out there that are literally masterpieces. Yeah. And I mean, they have their own mindset. Mm-hmm. They got their own income. They got their own. You know how I hooked up with my girl? We started dating, and I called her. We've been talking. This, that, whatnot. She called me, and she's like, "I'm gonna have to call you back. I'm at Pilates right now." And I'm like, "What?" And she hung up. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Shit, is she dating somebody else?" She had Pilates. She just hung up. I'll call you later.
Yeah.
She never called me that night. So the following morning, I'm like a little puppy. I'm like, hello? Hey, what's going on? I'm like, you never called me back. She goes, I was at Pilates. Then I went out, got something to eat, and I went home, went to bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just checking on you. And okay. Click. And I'm like, shit, man. This girl don't even need my attention all the time.
Yeah.
So now we're at that, but she does her thing, I do my thing, and
which works great for you because you can just focus and do what you do.
It works great for both of us. That's why
yeah.
Her own shit. She ain't calling me going, look, man, I need my nails done. No, She got her nails done.
Yeah.
She got her hair done. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm like, man, this shit, I better make sure I'm on point because somebody else is going to grab this girl if I don't grab her, right? I mean, she got her shit on point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're not all like that.
Yeah.
But, there are, this is not a women bashing session. I'm not bashing women.
No. Yeah.
There's good ones out there for sure.
Yeah, of course. There are always good ones out there. Like you said, the right one. That's the most important word.
That's
the right one.
Right. You rescued me. You threw me the life preserver. I got you.
For the right woman.
Exactly.
For the right woman.
This life preserver real quick, just so nobody thinks you're bashing women. All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what? I do want to, since we're talking about relationships, I do want to ask you. So, if there's a guy right now watching this right now, what your experience. I have a dating show. I do also. And I want to ask you, what are the biggest mistakes young men make when it comes to women? And trying to attract, trying to find, like you said, finding that right partner. Because that's the goal, to find the right partner. But what's the biggest mistake young men make? Yeah.
But I think a lot of times men try too hard. And when I say they try too hard is, men are men. So what do they do? Shiny object.
Yeah.
And the shinier the object, the more that's got their attention, right?
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, because I've watched it in front of my eyes a million times.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have zero game. I mean, zero game.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, oh, man, what? I mean.
Hey, what's the worst pickup game you ever heard a guy or seen a guy do?
And I could tell you, like, some of these guys come up with these corny little lines and think they're funny. And I'm thinking, like, you just met this girl. And, I've had people on these trips that lied about who they were. Yeah, I run like 7 offices. And I'm like, bro, you just barely made this fucking trip. All right? I mean, you just asked me for $1,000 advance on the trip, and you're trying to impress this girl that is from I don't know where. Right? I mean, like, be who you are, and just understand that not everybody's going to have that match. What are you looking for? I mean, that's, I think that's what happens when you get a little older compared to younger.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you're looking for everything.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's like going through the candy dish. I don't know if you had a candy dish when you were younger. If you had a candy dish when you were younger, you wanted to try all the candies. You try it.
Of course.
Wrappers all over the place, right? When you're older, you're like, man, I like that raspberry. And you looking through the candy dish and you find the raspberry. Why?
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing. If there's no raspberry in there, you're like, yeah, I'm good. Men get a little older and they know what they want.
Yeah.
Men that are younger just want everything. And I mean, I got a 23-year-old son, same way.
Yeah.
He brings girls over here. I don't even seriously, Will, I don't even ask her name anymore. Because I'm thinking to myself, one of my reps were over here and we had a get together. He's like, who's that? I'm like, I don't even pay attention to their name anymore. They won't be here next week.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's what he's doing. And that's because you got to experience life, right?
Yeah.
When you get older, get all that out of your system so you find the right one.
Yeah.
And, it's easier said than done. Some of these women will put that little needle in you that I don't know, whatever they shoot in you, you just like, and right?
Yeah.
And that happens to a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, she's this and she's that, and she blah blah blah, and she looked like this. Okay, well, yeah, okay. She's also 21. Look at her mama. What's her mama look like at 50? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what your wife's gonna look like at 50. If you're just basing this totally on looks, put things in perspective.
Yeah.
You want a partner in life that is really going to be not only your wife, but your best friend, someone you can confide in, talk to. And, men don't like to talk about their apprehensions, their fears, their insecurities, because they don't want women to hear that, right?
Yeah.
It makes when you find someone where you get to that point in the level where you can say, yeah, I'm really upset because of this, that, and whatnot, and they can understand, that's when you found the right one.
Yeah.
Not at 21, though. Not happening. Not happening.
One thing I realized today that I forgot who said that. I forgot who said this. I was watching this podcast and it was a successful. I'm trying to think his name. But he was successful and he was asking, they asked him like advice regarding how to pick the right woman. And I remember he said something it's something I just realized today. I think I'm at this point in my life right now is he said, he told the guys, it was like, don't go for the woman that you want. Go for the woman that wants you. If that makes sense.
I think it does. And I think it does for the woman that wants you, but sometimes you got to be careful for what they want.
Oh, yeah. Because what I realized for me, one of the best relationships I have with women is when, like you said, I'm just doing my thing, and then she's attracted to me, and then we just build off that. I realized from my past relationships when I'm like, when I was younger at 21, 22, 23, I was the one pursuing and going, trying to chase these women, giving everything I have to these women. And then all those relationships never worked out. But the relationships that did work out was just me just focus on what I want to do for my life and building my life. And then the woman just came. And then we had that interaction, we had a conversation, and it worked out.
Because you weren't trying too hard.
Yeah, I wasn't trying. I mean,
it happened.
It just happened, yeah.
Who you were.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You were trying to be somebody you weren't.
Yeah.
You were just being who you were. And that's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah.
You just got to be who you are. Because at the end of the day, if you're attracting someone, being someone you're not, you have to be that person for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're attracted to.
Yeah.
Just be you. And if you're just you and they're attracted to you, you don't have to be anybody any different.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to try a little harder here and there, right? Because that's what it's all about. But I mean, that's what it is. Huh?
And well, yeah, if you try to be somebody else, you're gonna get exposed eventually.
Yeah, I agree. Agree. 100%.
I was laughing when you said all those guys on the trips, they always tell them the fake resumes.
Oh yeah, I've watched it, and I've had people tap me and go, when they're with some girl, this is my partner right here, and I'd be looking over like, I mean, if that's a lie you telling, I'm yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my partner, man. I'm gonna be heading over this blackjack table. Go ahead, partner, take care of it. All right.
Yeah. I want to ask you this. What makes one of the things I've heard from a lot of people is they don't realize the amount of work you have to put into a relationship. Like, you just get into it, and in their mind, like, the magic just happens. So for you, you're married now, you have a healthy relationship. What makes it work? What are the things that you do or that you've experienced that you feel like this is what it takes to make a healthy relationship work?
Listening,
Listening.
because I was really good at that at work, but not as good at that in my initial relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And which was kind of really messed up because I did it for business, but I didn't do it personally.
Mm-hmm.
And, now I spend a lot more time listening.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a partner, you have a woman, or you have a whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
People like to vent, like to sound off, like to say, my day was this, my day was that, this was messed up. And you don't always have to be like giving all of that advice or this and that. Sometimes someone just needs someone to listen to. So
Gotcha.
I think I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
And, at the same token, sometimes she will talk for 20 minutes and vent off, and then she'll be like, thank you so much for listening.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I'll hear her go, well, how was your day? And I'll be like, it was good. It was fine. We just spent 30 minutes and I listened. But you know what? She would do the same thing for me.
Yeah.
I would have one of those days and how was your day? Man, I had this vendor that I just had this problem. I just lost, this happened. This solar contract is this happened here. Mm-hmm. And she'll ask her little questions here and there. Everything okay? Well, you'll be okay with this. Everything will be here. It's easy to just talk to somebody, but listening is a lost skill.
Yeah.
So I think listening is very important. And not just listen just to listen. You got to interact as well.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Put her on mute and go, okay. But, we all go through things that sometimes you just want somebody to say, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? What do you hear? Because they want to process all that in their mind as well.
Yeah.
So you want to ask the right questions and you want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
For me, what makes a relationship? I don't know, because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't. I'm not a long. My relationships is really short.
Right. Okay, I got you. Right.
So I haven't. The last time I was in a long-term relationship was like in college.
Right.
So that was the last time I had a long-term relationship. But ever since college, ever since I went in JE, I haven't been in a real long-term relationship. I'm just ever since JE, I was just always focused on one thing, just being a sales rep, going to office, and then I've left the total industry in 2020.
Yeah, but now you're doing podcasting and
yeah. So
now you got a little more time to yourself, right?
Yeah, but I want to be the best,
All right, okay.
So it's like I'm always being. When I commit to something, I don't commit for it to be mediocre. That's always that's always been my mindset. Is like if I'm going to do something and I commit to something, I have to put my very best effort and be the best I can in it. And I wouldn't be able to give that advice as far as make a healthy long-term relationship, but because I haven't really experienced it, so I don't want to. But I would say, I think any relationship for me is just, I think from at this point in my life, being with a woman that understands, lets me be myself. I think that's one thing I would say, because I've met some beautiful women. Some women I feel like I could have married in the past. Hopefully they're watching this, and maybe they're watching this. They're like, why didn't you? And the reason why I wanted to marry them, because they let me just be me. I didn't have to be anybody else. And I've noticed a lot of times when people in relationships now, like they have this facade. They want this. If what they portray, especially in the first date, is not really who they are, because they're afraid that the girl is going to leave. And I'm at this point in my life, I'm confident that I can be myself. If the girl leaves,
she leaves.
Cool. She leaves. It's all good, and I'm not going to lose any sleep about it. But she stays with me and lets me be myself, and of course, I reciprocate that back to her. That's the biggest thing for me, is meeting somebody that lets me be myself and let me do what I got to do and focus on what I got to do. And I think that's something I would look for in a woman. And if I see that, I think I will be married to that woman if I ever meet that person one day. But
all right, last question.
But
Most
for me?
yeah. Most important trait in a woman.
Whew. The most important trait in a woman.
Careful, because someone could be watching.
I know. I would have to say, I think loyalty. I think I would say that loyalty.
Loyalty.
Yeah. For me, if I can't trust you, nothing's gonna work. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care. Doesn't matter how attractive you are. If I can't trust you, if I can't trust you and I don't have confidence in you, that for me is probably the number one thing. Everything else I can work with, but I can't. Knowing myself, once you betray me the first time, I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that will be my answer to that. Is that what about you? What about you?
Oddly enough, it's intelligence.
Intelligence? Okay.
Yep. I love a woman that has that mind that can just my girl will tell me stuff that I don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
And she will say, I saw today that blah, blah. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, that means that this, that, what, and I'm like, God damn. And I said, man, that's sexy. She start laughing. I'll be like, no, I'm serious. I mean, you smart. And I don't get me wrong. Loyalty is definitely in the top 3.
Yeah.
But as far as attraction, I love a smart girl. If they're smart, that is attractive to me.
Oh, okay. If you take, of course, loyalty, that's common sense, right? So if you want to say attraction, a woman that I don't have to, I know the word for it, but she doesn't need my attention all the time. I don't know what independent. Well, yeah. Well, sometimes women can be too independent. If you watch my podcast, I talk about that all the time.
Right.
My dating show. So is for me, it's just a woman that is comfortable in her space and can be herself. That I would, she doesn't constantly need my attention to feel like that I care about her, or feel like that the relationship is based on I'm always checking up on her, if I'm always giving her too much attention, because I've dated some girl in the past that if I don't give her no attention, then it always ends up turning toxic.
Right.
But I like a woman that I can do my thing, she can do hers, and then we just come together whenever we have free time, and we'll enjoy that time, and then we can just go back to living our lives. But a girl that can just be herself and not want too much attention.
You also got to have a plan together, right?
Oh,
because
yeah.
Here's the thing about women. It's if they feel there is no end game to this.
Yeah.
And they're not even. That's not good, right?
Oh yeah.
They're programmed different, and I mean programmed different because men don't really think about end games like that.
Yeah.
They're just like, boom, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, you've been dating for like 2 years, you're not engaged or married yet?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I mean, no, everything's good right now. And she looking at you like, and you're like, oh shit, here we go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's got to be an end game.
Yeah, that's one thing I always tell a lot of girls that go on my show that ask her, like, how do you know a guy's serious? If a guy gives you a plan,
Mhm.
If the guy that really want, I always tell them that if for me, I'm the same way. Like if I really like you, I really let you know. Hey, look, there's a purpose behind this. I want you to be part of my life. I set them a plan. I'm not doing this for short term. I'm not doing this to fuck around.
Right.
You know, we're gonna be here together. We're gonna make it happen. That's what I do when I'm really serious about somebody. If I'm just having fun, then I keep it as vague.
Right.
I keep it as
moving along. Everything's good. You want to get something to eat? Yeah, let's go. Right. Yeah.
I don't bring it up. I try to avoid that subject. If I'm just having fun time, but with the woman that I really care about, I love, I like, because I don't want her to be with anybody else. I put a plan behind it. Hey, this is me, and we're gonna do this together. So that way she knows. So she's not looking around, because I know women are. If you don't give a plan, they're always looking for the next best option.
Next. Yep. You're right. 100%. Gotta be on that, man. I'm telling you. Because men don't realize, like I said, they're programmed different.
Yeah.
They have an expiration date. And the expiration date, if you exceed that expiration date, it's just like bad milk. They're gonna pour it down the drain, and they're gonna throw the carton away, and then go buy another mark. So so yeah, I know.
What would it be for you? Like, what are the things that you see that because I know we talked about this before in the podcast, how a lot of women today, that they feel like the men and women, we see things the same way. And the biggest thing I talk about in the podcast is we're different. We men and women are totally wired differently, especially when it comes to relationships, right? So the question I want to ask you is like, what are the things that you've seen that I guess that women think that we think the same way, but actually men don't see that the same way, but they believe we see it the same way.
Well, I think, I've had this conversation like in the past.
Yeah.
Men are programmed to be providers.
I talk about that all the time.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yes.
And any real man, how about that? Let me just throw it out there like that. I didn't know somebody so big. Any real men are providers.
Yes.
And they look at life as they need to provide shelter and take care of their woman.
Yes.
That is very important to a man.
Yes.
Okay? And, women will say, well, you can hear all the stories. I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need that. But what women have got to understand is how men are programmed.
Yes.
And they're programmed to be providers.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not doing that, in their own mind, they're failing.
Yes.
And that relationship will fail.
Yes.
Based solely on the fact that they are failing, because that is unacceptable to men.
Yeah.
And women have to understand that that's how men are. At the same token, don't get me wrong, I'm not shooting back to the 60s where, women need to do all the dishes, women need to do this and do. I mean, they're equal, especially nowadays, there's more equally involved.
Yeah.
Women also have to understand that men need some stability.
Yeah.
And when I mean that, in stability in the relationship, where they can feel like, you know what, Will, you're doing well. I appreciate what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do. They need to be the rock behind the rock.
Yeah.
And if you got that rock behind the rock, that's when things are going well.
Yeah.
When you have that bitching behind the rock, that doesn't help the unsuccessful situation that you're already in. It just makes it work.
Yeah.
So, I don't think women understand that. And, same thing with she doesn't want my money. She doesn't want me to do this. She doesn't want me, but that makes me feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
And it does. I want to do this, I want to do that. And I think she's become a little more comfortable with the fact of, thank you, honey. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate that. Even though I know she's not really as impressed as she pretends to be, but she understands that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a woman in your life, you want to take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't take care of her, you don't feel like much of a man, right?
Yeah. Yo,
Do you think women understand that though? Truly?
have you seen my podcast? No.
No, I don't think they do.
Yo, I literally try to explain that to them all the time, that it's our nature. Women, it's funny, they always go, that's a social construct. No, it's not a social construct. No, this is how men are wired. This is how we feel. We always want to provide and protect. And I always tell
yep.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. If you take it back to the I'll explain something like evolution, all the way back to the caveman days, right? Yep. It's been hardwired for thousands of years, evolutionary, as generations have gone. We've always been the hunter and gatherers. So it's now nature to provide and protect for the woman, right? Mm-hmm. So when we meet women, we always gonna be attracted to the woman that we can provide and protect for, right? And that's why I get a lot of the women I talk to, they want to be the providers and protectors. A lot of them are independent, have nothing wrong. That's nothing wrong with independency. But if there is something I do notice, is if you don't allow the man to protect and provide you, he naturally will gravitate to a woman that will allow that for him.
And right? You know what? I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you have a smart woman, remember I just told you.
Yeah.
She understands what you need emotionally.
Yeah.
And she allows some of that to happen.
Yeah.
Because we all give and take in our relationship.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
So she's doing what she needs to do because she knows that is important to you.
Mm-hmm.
No different than if I know, she likes to, outside of the whole tango dancing thing that she wants, her dancing that I don't really want to do. We have that, sometimes I have to do things that I really don't want to do, but I know that that's important.
Of course.
And I think sometimes, maybe it just comes from now, Will, that women are so independent or have been raised in environments where they had to be independent.
Yeah.
That they're now, I don't need no man to take care of me.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay. And I know the situation you were in, and maybe a lot of that needs to come from communication. Yeah. But they also have to understand that if you don't, this is the type of man you're going to get, or this is the type of man you're going to get. If you're going to stand tall on this, understand what you're going to get. Yeah. And what you're going to get is, let me break it all the way down to you. The guy that is going to stay at your house, and you're going to pay all his bills, and you're going to do this, and you the sugar mama. Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of them out there. They'll take that.
Yeah.
Look at tax season, right? Everybody's got the tax, right? Yeah. There's a reason for that. It's the truth.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. I don't know.
No, the one thing I always try to explain to a lot of these women, the traits that they look for in men, it's not the same traits that men look for in women. So because our nature is to provide and protect, we're not necessarily looking for a providing, protecting woman. We want a woman that we can come in and we can provide and protect for them, for that woman. And like you said, I think the rock behind the rock, right? Yep. We want a woman that's emotionally available and we're attracted to sexually, but also emotionally, mentally. We're not looking for her to be a provider, protector, for us to be attracted to her. So, women, they care about how a man provides. That's why if a man makes a lot of money, that's why a lot of women go for that guy, because they realize that it's a good investment to be with that guy. He can take care of her long term. But for men, we don't necessarily look for a woman to take care of us, because that's already in our nature. So I always have to break it down to a lot of independent women. I don't need a man. I was like, why isn't men attracted to me? Because I'm very independent. I was like, well, because your independence is important for you, but for men, we don't see independence the same way. Mm-hmm. So
I would agree with that. Sometimes to a point, it's almost a turnoff.
Exactly, because our nature is provided protecting. So if we can't do that, it's a turnoff for us.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would agree. I mean,
Yeah.
independency, and it's not, you don't want to take independency away from a woman.
No, yeah.
But what they also have to understand is there's a give and take.
Yeah.
You can be independent, like my girl. She
Yeah.
does this, does this, does this. And she does a great job with all of what she's doing. But she also can be that girly girl.
Yes.
Where, she's like, I just want to be a girl, and I can be emotional sometimes, and I can be this. And you know what? No matter what men said, they like that.
Yeah.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
so what's the matter? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix it.
I'm gonna provide, protect that.
And you know what men want? They want to fix it.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel good.
Yeah, to be men. That's
Right.
how we are.
That's how it is.
We come in, protect you, provide for you, fix it.
Yep.
Whatever you want to say. Because that's how we feel to be men and to feel, feel comfortable, be committed, to feel loved. And I try to break that down to women. They're like, and you know what? There's a faces of what it's funny when I rewatch it, I look at their faces and they just like they can't, it's like I'm talking like a foreign language. Oh man, Dennis, man, we definitely gotta get you on one of those dating shows, man.
Hey.
I need a wingman that can
oh yeah. It's all psychology 101.
Yeah.
And that's really, what you just said, there's the physical end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be physically attracted.
Yeah.
Especially initially.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be physically, because if you're not physically attracted at all,
yeah,
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
At the same token, the physical, when you add the emotional attachment to it, you put those together, that's on a different level.
Yeah.
That's like a drug that everybody keeps coming back for, right? It's like crack, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get on that emotional and physical,
mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
But women also got to see that my man's like this. They have to understand you, I guess.
Yeah.
And understand how you are, what's important to you. I mean, when you have a woman saying, where do you see yourself in 2 years from now?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit. And you're like, well, I mean, so what is your plan going forward?
Mm-hmm.
See, to me, I love that. And my girl keeps on point. Okay, well, what if a year from now, where are we going to be at with this, and this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shit, man, this is almost like a quiz. I'm like, damn, man. I mean, can I study first and then come back to you? I mean, but that means she is emotionally, physically, and financially involved in our relationship, which is important.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be our stuff, not my stuff, not her stuff, our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's some of the young women on there that have not learned the psychology end of it yet. And these could be great women. I mean, they're really good. But you know what they haven't learned is it's, and I hate to put it like this, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
How do you play the game?
Yeah.
And the game is, game sounds like it's manipulative, it's this, but that's part of life. You're playing the game to set up the final game. And if you can't understand that Will needs this and Will's girl needs this, and they can't understand that that's what they both need, how is that going to work? It's not going to work. Because eventually, if this is a sticking point for Will or your girl, that is going to bear its head at some point. It is going to be a problem. And you're better off, which is why I tell my sons, look, man, get this all out of your system now. Date and date and date and date. Date them all. go to the candy dish and get like 19 different candies, and decide what you really want.
Yeah.
And, my advice to somebody young, don't get married at 21.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't know what you want at 21.
Yeah.
You don't. Because I know I didn't. I had no idea. Not to mention, and props to some of these young women that have had children at 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And done well for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
But that is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I think you need to build a base, to build a family, to build end game. And I think if you're doing that at 2021, man, that gets tough. And I have a daughter, and I can speak from experience. I have a daughter that is gonna be 24.
Yeah.
I have a grandson. Will, that is 4 years old.
Yeah.
And she is one of the strongest women I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And she met a guy, they were dating. She's blonde, very attractive. And the guy said, man, I don't know if I can date a girl that already has a child.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm completely fine with that. You can leave.
Yeah.
He is my priority in life.
Mm-hmm.
And you are secondary at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, I don't know if I would have put it like that, because she called me to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, I don't know if I would put it like that, because that means he's always secondary.
Yeah.
And I understand that my grandson should be first, but you ain't got to tell him that.
Yeah.
You have to understand that he is also looking where he's going to fit in this relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's important to him. And you're asking someone to accept a child that is not biologically theirs.
Yeah.
So that takes a period of time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two of those.
Yeah.
I have two children that are not biologically mine. I've known them since they've been 1 and 2. But one of them is here right now playing video games with another one. And you know what? He is, in my opinion, my first child.
Yeah.
Because I've known him since he's been 1.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. And we're ride and die partners. But did that take a period of adjustment? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a little uneasy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But now everything's good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in life that people take granted for, and they just say, well, it's like we were just saying, well, it is what it is. No, it isn't. It is what it is. It is what you make.
Yeah.
So you can make life whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And what you put in is what you get out. Yeah. And that's the same thing with relationships. No different it is when we started this conversation with door to door.
Yeah.
We started it with sales and so on and so forth. Because you've done it. You know for a fact, if somebody went out there and worked 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and went door to door, they could make a couple $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Fact. I have people doing it right now. But most people just don't want to put in the 40 hours a week, which is really effed up, because at the end of the day, if you work at the bank and you don't show up for work, guess what they do? They fire you.
Yeah, they fire you.
Right. And door to door, if you don't go to gear, guess what happens? You just don't make any money. So there are no consequences.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were saying. If there are consequences or needs in life,
mm-hmm.
people react better to that if you got fire under your feet than they do if there is no fire.
Yeah.
Which is why you can make more money in this business than any other business I know of.
Yeah.
And when I say that, let's face it, you can come out of high school with no degree and make $200,000 a year.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
The problem is you're going to make, to Will's point, that $3,000 check, $4,000 check, and then all of a sudden, Will's out there buying new J's. He's buying new clothes. He's hanging out with the girl. He's doing that.
Yeah.
He's already put a down payment on a car.
Yeah.
And he ain't working.
Yeah.
It's all mentality. And you can say that because you've done it, so you already know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not speaking from something that I'm telling people. You've done it, you know.
Yeah.
And you've seen a whole bunch of people do it. Fair enough.
Yeah. The funniest thing about my first 2 years at JE, I didn't even know I was an independent contractor.
Wow.
I remember when somebody told me that like 2 years later, 2 years into the business, like, hey, you're independent contractor, right? You don't have to show the work, because I would show the work. I would show the work every single day.
Right.
And yeah, I just thought that I had to show up.
So what's so funny? I have my 16-year-old son up here.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see him last year because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So usually he's up here all summer.
Mm-hmm.
He's up here at Christmas. He's up here at spring break. So I have him about 4.5 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, Dad, I really want to come up this year because I worked last year at Target making $12.50 an hour.
Yeah.
He said, man, I'm bringing home like $320 a week.
Yeah.
I'm like, $320? It's like, yeah. I said, well, man, we gonna put you on doors when you come up. And I said, you're gonna make more than $320. He goes, how much more? I said, bro, you're gonna make easy $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
And he's like, 1,000? He's like, 1,000? I said, yeah, if you suck, you should make $1,000 a week. He's like, you're just messing with me. I said,
yeah.
No. I said, if you go to work and you work 5 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday, you will make $1,000 a week, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And he said, Dad, why don't more people do that? I said, because most people don't have the mindset
Yeah.
to work every day.
Yeah.
What they work for their needs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I said, it's crazy because you're new in the business. The problem is these guys get in the business and then they say, well, I really don't have to work much. I just work a couple of days to make enough money to get by.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. So where do you want to be in life? You can't put that on everybody because everybody's not ready for that.
Yeah.
So
and by the time I got into JE, I already like you said, I was ready at the lowest point of my life. I burned all my boats. I was just ready to make things happen, and like that drug, that $2,000 check for the first time, that was a.
What was the biggest check?
My biggest check was like 25,000 in a week.
See, that's what's so crazy. Anybody that's watching this, like, you made 25,000 in 1 week.
Yeah.
Do you understand that is in Ohio just above the poverty level for a whole year for a household income? In a year, you made that in 1 week.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But it's crazy. It's funny. Like I'm sure you can relate to this. We never think it. When you're in it, we're in the process of just working and grinding. You don't even think like that. You just when I saw it, I was like, I was proud of. I made 25,000, but I was in my mind. It was like, how can I make more? Because we started at 2, then I went to 3, then I went to 5. So it was a gradual process. So it was for me. It was just I finally made 25,000. Okay, what can I do to keep going? To keep going.
That's crazy, bro. 25,000 in 1 week. In 1 week. Jeez.
You know what? To give some inspiration to everybody out there that's watching this right now, what was your biggest check in 1 week at JE?
Okay, well, let me just clarify. Are you talking about like check from overrides, or are you talking like what I got from like reconciliation overrides?
Just the biggest check you've ever made altogether. Like the biggest check you ever made.
In 1 week was almost $170,000. Right.
Man, that just makes me want to go work hard.
$170,000. Yeah.
In a week.
And that was with JE, by the way. But,
JE. Yeah.
Not in my personal business is different. But
yeah.
I mean, the almost 170. It was 168 something. Yeah. And yeah, it was crazy.
What was your feeling when you saw that? If you remember.
Honestly, just like you,
yeah.
I would, once I got to that point where I was consistently making 15, 20 grand a week.
Yeah.
I didn't, honestly, I know this sounds like pompous, but I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I didn't really even look at my paychecks. I mean, I just took them down there, wrote and just deposited the shit, and it was what it was.
Yeah.
Because I was more focused on continue.
Yeah.
It was more of a pain in the ass for me. You know, I wish I would have just deposited the shit in my account as opposed to me going down those checks.
Yeah.
It was more of a pain in the ass to me to go down there because keep in mind, I had checks on my office, these other 13 offices. You had override checks. You had, like, I'd go down there with like 40 checks, be signing the back of these things and then adding them all up. And then she'd be like, you're off $38. And I'll be like, whatever the fuck it is, just deposit. You know, I mean, I'm like, oh, fuck, man, it was crazy. But I guess I never, once I got to the point where I accomplished the goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I said this, and I said my last financial goal when I was at JE was to make more money than the woman I used to live with made in 1 year. And when I did that, when I made that in 1 week, I quit counting.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, you know, everything, your work was a byproduct, and whatever you got is what you got.
Yeah.
And you know, from being in that, when you start doing that, you're not even, you create a habit. The habit works.
Yeah.
So the money is just coming. You always have money.
Yeah.
You don't have to check your account and go, oh shit, can I order a pizza tonight? Yeah. No, there was always money in there, and there was plenty of money in there.
Yeah.
It was just go to work, 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 go to work. And yeah, it's crazy to think that you could make $25,000 in 1 week. It's crazy.
And I think one of the things I realized, I just listen to you, but also just listen to other people. You know, when people that are like, when we're doing really well, being successful, it's not even about the results no more. It's just the process, because we realize it's the process is what's going to get the result. You know, so when I saw my checks increasing, I realized that, as long as I stay consistent, as long as I keep doing what I need to do, the checks will come. The byproduct is the money will come. So that's why for me, there was I think it was like a year and a half into business, I stopped looking at my checks, because I already knew the work I did a couple of weeks ago. I already knew that the work I put in was already good. So I already knew what my paycheck was going to be. I didn't really look at the number, unless it was a record week. Unless it was a record week, then I would look. That would purposely just to see. Just to see, you know, just see. Well, and that 25,000 was one of our record weeks, and I looked at it. I was like, okay, cool, you know.
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind that when, you know, I'm making 168,000. You know, some of these regionals at JE were making a $5 override on their office.
Yeah.
My regionals were making over 3 times that amount on their office.
Yeah.
So I wasn't keeping the amount of money that I won't name any names, but
we all know who you're talking about.
A couple people did, and they probably get mad when I call them out about it. But I made that money without taking all that money.
Yeah.
If I would have taken that money, I probably could have made, I don't even want to guess. It would have been some ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
But paying people, which is why my guys would go to Hawaii and they're renting 2 drop tops and they're doing this and they're doing that and they're having beach parties and this and I can remember John saying, where are these guys getting this money from?
Yeah.
It's work. How? I see their, well, they're making 3.5 times the amount as you are on a deal.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But guess what? They pushed those offices because they were making good money.
Yeah.
So what did it do for me? It made me money as well.
Yeah.
I just didn't make it like they did, but I shouldn't because I'm not running their office. They are.
Yeah.
So that fair is fair.
Yeah. I think some I forgot who told me this, but it was during JE. It was like take care of those who take care of you, right?
Yeah.
If you take care of your people, then you're gonna have longevity. You know, how many times I've seen so many regionals or nationals get to the top so fast, making so much money, but then just drop because they'll go from 0 to 50 and then go from 50 to back to 0.
You know what? You want to know what's funny? I left JE 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Resigned from JE 4 years ago. And some people that have worked with me since I started JE still work with me now.
That says a lot. People don't realize that says a lot.
No, what that means, they're going nowhere else.
Yeah.
What they always say is, my shit's always right with him. I never have any issues. Yeah, somebody offered me this, that, whatnot. They're like, man, I don't care what they offer me because they're offering me something to try and pull me off the path, and I'm paid the way I need to be paid. I don't have any issues here.
Yeah.
Everything is good, and I'm making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I probably have, I don't know, 20 people, literally 20 people that worked with me from day one that are still working with me today.
Yeah. You know, people that's watching this right now, they don't realize like that's rare. That is rare.
That is very rare.
That is very rare. And that's a reflection. That's a reflection of you and how you treat them and the work that you do put in. Because like, yeah, you see it. You see all these. I still see what other regions are doing, but it's a whole new. You'd rarely see the people they started with. They're still working together later on. You're one of the few people that I do know and see that the very people they started with are still together.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah, Dennis, that's still killing the game. Still killing the game, man.
Yeah. Still killing the game. Everything's good, man. Everybody's doing well, and
So,
go ahead.
No. I was gonna ask you, like, what motivates you now, man? You're, like, to keep going.
I do a lot of things now. A lot of things.
Yeah.
And I take even less on a deal than I used to take.
Yeah.
And to me, it really is. It's all about, the conversation I've had with my wife is when I get to 21, I said that I would retire.
Yeah.
So I need to make 7 more millionaires, and then I'll probably have to lie for a year or two and say I'm at 20, and it is what it is. I really enjoy the development of people. Even though I don't do payroll, I have people that do that. Then when I get it, I will call people before they get their payroll to juice them up.
Yeah.
And this, that, and whatnot. And then also talk about the financial, just like we were talking about, the financial responsibility. I had one guy last week make almost 20 grand. And he was really excited, and I'm not going to mention his name.
Yeah.
But I said, look, promise me that you're going to take at least half of that. And
yeah.
And I said, I need you to be that guy. I got you, man. I got you. And next week's going to be better. We're doing this. You're doing that. He goes, man, look, you want to go have a drink? I said, no, bro. I'm good. I don't need a drink. And I don't need you to have a drink. What I need you to do is focus.
Yeah.
So, and like sometimes you just get into it, and it's, I don't want to say it's not about money, because if you're doing something for free, then I might as well work for the food bank or something else. And I have to make money, and obviously to cover cost.
Yeah.
But it's to the point now where I don't feel like strapped to the money. It's more about boom, boom, boom. And then, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a 24/7 guy. I get bored really easy. Yeah. So if I don't have people calling me, if I don't have this, if I'm not on with solar developers or this or that, I get bored.
Yeah.
So, as she tells me, she goes, "Are you ever going to retire?" I said, "Yeah, eventually." Yeah. When? I don't know yet. I mean, not a couple of years. I got some goals I want to hit right now. Yeah. But it's fun. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's fun to see young people do well for themselves, and then maybe it's a father in me that I really want to make sure they go down the right path.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about your legacy? Is that something you think about at this point of your life? Because you're doing great. You're killing it. Been in business for a long time. You're making millionaires. Have you ever thought about the legacy you're gonna leave behind? Or probably not. You're just in the process right now, just to grind. Just grinding.
Here's what I'll tell you. You can go online. You can talk to anybody that has been in this game. Anybody. Competitors of mine. You will not find one person, not one, unless it's that one who wrote 6 deals and only got paid on 2, and is bitching that I took the 4 deals from him or something like that. And those people, right? I mean, I got that shit. But you will not find one person to say a bad thing about me. Why? Because I am I'm a gangster for sure, but I am straight up honest, will never steal from somebody. I always do the right thing. Even if it's not my fault, I will fix it. But I'm about accountability.
Yeah.
So,
just to keep it real, to be honest, like, in my whole time working at JE, I've never heard.
I love you. Love you, bye. No, that's all right. That's my wife.
No, it's good. It's all good.
That's all right.
No, I was gonna say, in my whole time, I'm not just saying this just because we're on the podcast. In my whole time at JE, I've heard and seen so many things about certain people, but I've never heard anyone say any bad thing about you. And I'm just keep telling you the straight truth. I've never heard you. I've never heard anybody's you're the one person. The only thing I heard about you is you were killing. Number one office. You were number one office. That's the only thing I heard. Number one office, Beechwood.
Right. That's not what you guys called us. Yeah, you called us Beechwood. I remember.
Oh, but that was just competitive, right? We were just
no, of course.
Yeah. Right. But as far as just talking about other people, because I've heard everybody talk about each other, but I've never heard anybody talk about you, your character of how you ran. Never heard of it. I just never heard of that. Your name never came up. Other people. We didn't mention their names. They came up a lot. We didn't mention their names on this podcast.
You know what's cool about that?
Yeah.
My story is clean.
Yeah.
And I mean that truly, Will, when I tell you that is I always have good intentions. I will always fix any problems. I am hard on accountability.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only person you'll hear bitch about me is the guy that wrote 6 deals. Bullshit deal, got paid on 2. Yeah, he's bitch about that. And I always tell myself, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pay you on the other 4 deals, but lose my fucking number.
Yeah.
And I've literally done that to people and
Yeah.
managed to be like, why are you going to give him stuff on stuff? I said, because nobody's ever going to talk about me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him the money, but I will never do business with that guy again. He don't want to work. It is what it is. It's my mistake, your mistake. I solved it, but we're not doing it again.
Yeah.
That's why you won't hear it, because again, you're in the podcast business right now. You know, if you ain't working, shit's not good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really what it is. I know no matter what I do, I got to work. And I've said this a million times. I said it in Newfoundland in a speech about in front of 250 people that Darren didn't like when I said it. I said, you know the sad thing about this business? You don't even have to be good to make money. You know,
that's true.
No, it's a damn truth, and you know it.
Yeah, it's a reality. Yeah.
I said, but I'll tell you what this is. I will never tell you I'm the best leader. I will, you know, I'm a stone cold killer in the field.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just wrote 42 last week, part-time.
Yeah.
I will never tell you I'm the best salesman. I will tell you that nobody will outwork me.
Yeah.
Period. That's my mindset. I'm going to work, period.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we having fun, but this is what I do.
Yeah.
And if you have that mentality, people just need to understand you don't, you know, they've got this talent. They're able to do this, this. Look, work beats talent when talent doesn't work.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is go to work. And you know what? If you're even of average intelligence, those trials and tribulations you're doing, just like I did, just like you did. You weren't good salesmen. Well, at least I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I learned.
Yeah.
I learned because I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And the concern I took from all the rejection, times when I screwed up at the door and didn't say the right things, and I should have done this, I should have done. Now, I look people stone cold in the face, and I'll be like, I got this. I already know I got this. So it's really about going to work, and that's life in general.
Yep. No, it's especially today. I don't know if you've seen it, but especially today, you don't have to be good, because the way they have the TPP calls, everything's electronic now. Like it was a total. I mean, I haven't been in door to door since 2020, but I have a good friend right now that's he's a regional, and he told me about the TPP process now. It's 5 questions, or everything's electronic. But back in the day, my TPP when I started, it was like.
I hope to God he's not doing both. Just saying. You might want to tell him to give me a call, because that company is starting to. We'll talk about that offline. But,
we were talking about offline.
Yeah. But everything's different.
Yeah, it's easier.
And products are so much different.
Yeah,
than they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, like I've changed. Mm-hmm. You know, when I sold JE, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't put anybody I knew on that product. Anybody.
Yeah.
Because it was that bad.
Yeah.
And I mean that wholeheartedly. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of money. But I wouldn't put anybody I knew on the product.
Yeah.
They'd be calling me, go, man, what did you do to my bill?
Yeah.
Now I work with suppliers directly. This and that.
Yeah.
I work with products that are good for customers.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody it's like a la carte. You've been to a nice steakhouse, and you get the steak, right? And you order the steak for, I don't know, $89. But if you want mashed potatoes, that's going to cost you another $15. If you want green beans, that's going to cost you $12.
Yeah.
God forbid, if you want a beer, that's probably, I don't know, $12 as it is. But everything's extra.
Yeah.
I said, if you want a product that you can make the most commission, and that's what you get, understand that your product is going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible.
Mhm.
So what do you want to do? If you really look at, well, I just want to make the most money. Okay, understand that you're going to sell the worst product out there.
Mhm.
And I'll give it to you. Understand at that point, you're also going to be screwing some customers over.
Mhm.
Understand at that point, you're also going to have chargebacks because as soon as they see what the rate is, they're going to cancel it. It is what it is.
Mhm.
Or you can sell a product. You know, we have one in Ohio right now that's 3 months below the utility, 0 customer charge, 0 cancellation fee. And they send you a letter in the mail to tell you to call in to re-up your program.
Mhm.
Everyone out here loves it because they can walk away from the door knowing they just helped the customer.
Yeah.
Same thing we're doing with community solar right now.
Mhm.
I mean, it's 10 or 20% below the utility for 20 years. And these guys are making money hand over fist.
Mhm.
It's a good product. You can also sell other products that aren't as good for customers
Mhm.
and make this money. Where are you at in your life? And what do you want to do?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just laughing because yeah. The product
No, I already know.
you would have decided, you know.
Trust and believe. I know every product out there, every vendor out there, and what they're charging, what they're doing, everything. I know all the principles at all these suppliers.
Yeah.
So I know that this guy just left Bold Energy and went here.
Yeah.
And I know that this is happening and this is happening. And, you know, let me just use the overused phrase. There's levels to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The level that I'm on is up here somewhere, and I get where everything is at.
Yeah.
Which is why you create a game plan for the team that you have, so they're aware of these are obstacles. These are obstacles. Because if I'm not doing that, and something happens, I just sold them short.
Yeah.
That's my responsibility.
Well, Dennis, I would keep going with you, but my phone's about to die.
Yeah, no, I got you. You told me, oh, we're only going to do this an hour or two, whatever. All right, yeah, we can on.
But hey, I could go. I could keep going, but it's just
yeah, I got you, bro.
I just got the 5%.
Yeah, I got you.
5% warning. Yeah, you know what? One thing I always ask every guest at the end of the show, just ask them just share some final thoughts, everybody. Man, we just talked about your whole life. We just talked about great door-to-door stories for you, all the door-to-door watching this right now. You guys can all relate. And then if you're from GE that's watching this, I hope.
Yeah, I hope I ain't nobody. Right.
It is what it is. It is
right.
what it is.
And I wasn't talking about you, right?
Yeah. Hey, if the shoe fits, then you know who you are.
Yeah, right.
You know who you are.
Yeah, right. It makes my name.
But yeah, I guess to end it off and conclude this, just some final thoughts to everybody who's watching this, and we'll end off with that. Go ahead.
All I'll tell you is this, and I'm going to leave you with exactly what I said. No matter what you do in life, this isn't not just about door to door. What you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
And anybody in life, no matter, you know, people will say, well, I don't have this ability. I don't have this chance. You can do whatever you want to do in whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And the more you put in, the more you put out. And truly, the U.S. has lost its work ethic.
Oh, yeah.
That's just my opinion for whatever it's worth. But if you're someone that wants to go to work and is willing to put into work, and I'm not talking about 80 hours a week, I mean, willing to go to work and work, you will be successful. And if you're willing to take whatever it is in whatever business you're in and learn from all the mistakes you're making, and if you don't think you make mistakes, you're already making mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes, and you got to learn from them. And if you take that, you'll be successful no matter what you do.
All right.
You don't want to go to work, bro. It's on you.